Listen, babe. Oh, yeah. It's alright, alright, alright. 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 Listen, babe. Oh, yeah. It's alright, alright, alright.
Welcome back for another class of hope. No, I'm not Core Smith. If you think I'm Core Smith, that means either you knew or you've been high on every damn class. This class is dedicated to Montgomery, Alabama. We're about to light this shit up. I've been wanting to say that all week. Lot to cover tonight. Lot to cover. Tonight's gonna be a thinking night, and I'm gonna speak just loosely. Is it okay, Shabisha?
Yes.
You know, this business stuff that we're trying to learn in this class, it escapes our rationalization. It really does. And I speak to people every day in the business community. And do you know our base culture is so far removed from business, it's ridiculous? Y'all, once you kind of grow, you'll see it. But our base culture, and I'm not doing comparisons because I'm not white, I'm not Asian or Indian, I'm not Latino, so I can't speak to that. And it's not really about comparisons. I don't care. I do care, but I don't care where other people are. But as a culture, it feels like we're unconsciously being reversed. And I would argue that all human beings need other human beings. We all do. There's no such thing as individualism. It's just a popular colloquial term that we use to make ourselves feel good, to give ourselves to not step up to the responsibilities of the group. But everything that matters requires for us to kind of buy into a group. Everything. I asked a mother who's raising a child, single mother raising a child, she'll tell you she needs her family. She needs good friends. She needs community. You forget when you send your child out of school, that's still a community. Everywhere you go, you depend on community's reaction and engagement with you to get what you want in life. And I can honestly tell you that we are actually being engineered backwards. We had, slavery put us almost 200 years behind the current state of white folks at that time. Because they engineered us to a very ignorant space so they can maintain dominance over us, right? The average slave owner, which was really a couple, would own a slave. Now, anybody know that today, black, if somebody tried to own you and it was just two people, they about to get fucked up, right? But if they break your brain enough, you can't even step up and have that conversation. And so this class, I'm gonna always push your brain for sometimes they have a headache. But it's not that I expect you to arrive after every class and be at that level, but I want you to kind of get uncomfortable where you are. I don't want you to bake in comfort. So it's kind of like, I'm opening this class with kind of like a subdued energy because sometimes it's we really don't see the damage that's been done to us because I'm watching white folks right now. I saw a discussion on reparations. And white folks is like, yo, why should we give black folks reparations when slavery happened way back then? Slavery didn't stop, y'all. Slavery, Jim Crowism was an extension of slavery. We had almost a 9 to 10 year break and then we were right into the crack era. And we loaded the prisons up with so many Africans in America that the systemic racism that we are currently living under is a legacy of slavery. But what white folks have been doing is going, oh, this happened back then. And some of us, because we don't know our history, we kind of go, yeah, that did happen back then. Not realizing that, no, slavery is a continuum. And there is a suppression of our thinking that we don't know is happening. And we continue to think, which I'm going to prove today in class, that white people have the power to absolutely hold you back. I mean, absolutely don't. They actually don't. Russia's fighting who? Ukraine. Who's more powerful? Who at the beginning of that fight? Who you thought was more powerful?
Russia.
You could have swore Russia would have whooped that ass in 10 minutes. Ukraine is giving them such a battle for their money that there's starting to be a break in leadership in Russia, saying, "Hey, maybe we should get rid of what's my man's name? Putin." So, but in order for me to have that dominance, you have to believe that white supremacy is insurmountable. But most of white supremacy exists in your own personal mind. And I can promise you, as you start to grow, you'll realize this thing is a race that can hold another race back. Do you understand what it would take for a race to keep you held down? How much they would have to spend? Are their time, attention, money? It's just too much. Shout out to Jordan. I'm done. Sometimes I just stop on subjects. I don't want to go too long. I'll give you another thing about it and fuck it, call me later on. Shout out to Jordan. Jordan dropped a podcast in the group on Facebook. I haven't approved it yet because I always listen to stuff first, right? Because I want to see what folks are sending out. And it's by T.D. Jakes, talking about business. It is, matter of fact, Tino, approve it for the group. That's going to be the podcast for next week. So make sure you're in the Facebook group online. Listen to that T.D. Jakes podcast that Jordan found. Shout out to you, Jordan. You saved me a lot of work this week, as well as that podcast is fire. But don't listen to it once. Put that shit on repeat like it's Drake's new album. And let that shit ride in your car for a few days until you really digest it. What I like about T.D. Jakes a lot, I've already said this, Pastor Chris and T.D. Jakes are my favorite two ministers. And what I really like about T.D. Jakes is that he has the brain of an entrepreneur, he has the wisdom of an elderly, and he has the insights of historical religion. And he combines those three in such a poetic way and he provides insights. And he's a black minister. He loves black folks. And the podcast, I'm in total agreement with everything he's saying, total alignment with what we do at Hope. But I think the way he says it, he says it a way that only a minister could say it. You know, ministers can color words in ways we never even imagine. They can make shit look so tasty in words, right? You say, oh my God, I just got to digest those words because it's just so damn amazing. And T.D. Jakes is a master in that space. And so this is not a religious push for my Islamic folks, my non-religious folks, my I'm not sure what the fuck I am folks. But I can promise you the wisdom that you're going to get from this conversation is absolutely superb. So make sure you join the Facebook group. There's I think it's an hour and 10, hour and 15. I would add another podcast to it, but I think you need to put this one on repeat because he's tapping in some spaces where I was getting ready on my way here. My back kind of went out. So I was getting ready and I'm listening to the podcast and I'm thinking to myself, damn, this is a great podcast. Didn't anyone come to class. I wanted to sit and listen to my damn self. So I finished like 45 minutes of it. I can promise you it's absolutely amazing. So that's the first part. Now, I want to talk about a couple quick things before we jump into the class, and this is pure business stuff. Not our business, like take care of business. You know, church always when church says business, that means donation time. Yeah. But this ain't that kind of business. I want to talk about some basics in business. First thing first, and this is a time to take notes because I'm going straight to business advice. It's almost like the basics, but I'm going to run through these pretty fast. First thing first, when you talk to another business person or you want to talk to people in the business world, start with numbers. Everything starts from numbers. Why do you start from numbers? In business, right can be right and wrong can be wrong. Why is that? Because competition changes the conversation. If you do everything right, you're predictable. So sometimes you do things awkward or in a centric way, right? What allows you to control your decision making is not right, wrong, or morality. None of those really have any value or leverage. What has leverage is numbers. So if you make a decision, for example, you could be the most hated person on social media and be rich as hell because that's your business, right? So that wrong based upon the numbers, you're trying to always look at your numbers. I do not give a shit about how much you value things and how much you care about stuff and how your product's going to change the world and how you're a good person and how you came, you got saved when you were 7 and you walk in righteous in the way you produce your product and you're a master server. All that's trash. And I'm going to get to why in 1 second. It's only a business case. We're not going to make moral cases. Anybody ever heard of the arrow effect in business? The arrow effect. Arrow, like a bow and arrow.
Oh.
Okay. All right, let me show you. This is a basics. This is basic, but I promise you more businesses fail in this area. The arrowhead of a bow of an arrow in business is sales. It's sales. Everything else behind the arrowhead is designed to drive sales. That means everything in your business is driving sales. Now, if sales is not effective at what they're doing, it's probably not because you have bad salespeople. It's because your product is not properly developed. So quite often, if you have poor designed product that's hard to sell, because it should almost be able to sell itself, then what you're asking for your salespeople to be is the best salespeople the world's ever made. So at the end of the day, if your sales is slumping, it's probably in your product. This leads me to explain why about 3 or 4 classes ago, I was jamming up folks who kept going to these nonprofits to get funded. What was disturbing me, and I don't think I got a chance to really cover in that conversation, is a lot of these businesses who are looking to raise money haven't developed a rich product and don't have a strong relationship with sales. And so doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it, but quite often raising money eats up so much time, you never get a chance to make sure, are you selling products? Now here's the catch-22. The investment game, when you look at people investing in a company, evaluation has nothing to do with the value of a company. Evaluation is a price, and the value of the company's value. Price and value are not the same thing. A company can be evaluated at, say, $2 billion. How? It's because there's this excitement, social contagions kicked in, emotional contagions kicked in, herd type behavior kicks in. Herd is when everybody starts saying something, we all start believing it, but we don't have facts. And the excitement can get to the point that we evaluate a company at $1 billion. But when a company sells, it may sell for only $200 million, meaning $800 million short, right? But evaluation is totally different than actual value. Meaning that most people who invest, they're looking for certain things to spark their interest to want to invest in your company. Companies have this thing called cycles, meaning that no company lasts forever. Could you? You could, but most companies don't last forever. And the reason they don't last forever is because they go through a cycle, which is the beginning, you go through this drag period, you go through a huge spurt, and then you kind of sputter for a certain amount of time, and then competition comes along at some point and destroys you. So when an investor comes into a company, they want to know what stage your business is in, not how pretty your product is, not how deep, how intelligent you are, not what college you went to, not how black culture and how you're the only person in your community. None of that shit matters. So a lot of times when they're looking at your business, they're looking at the model, not the actual individual efforts. All those efforts is something you worry about, they don't give a shit about.
100%.
2, if your product is strong and your sales are strong, investors are lining up to talk to you. If your product is weak and your sales is weak, you are in line trying to talk to an investor. You guys get that reverse? If your product is strong and your sales is strong, investors, you don't have to look for investors. It's pretty easy. People are literally, matter of fact, all of a sudden you may get more money than you need because why? At the end of the day, it's inspiring. You had a good point. You're in an industry that's underdeveloped. You're small business, a lot of room for growth, a lot of potential chance for you to make a lot of money, right? They don't give a shit about your race. Don't give a shit about your gender. No one gives a fuck. It's just a simple model. Because the investors trying to make money, they're not trying to build racial alignment. They do that with their profits. So a lot of times in business, what we think is valuable, which is I have a good product, I work really, really hard, I'm really sincere at what I do, zero relevance to the market. Zero. It's based upon your product cycle or your market cycle and the efficiency of how your business is running. If they see a profit habit. Matter of fact, banks don't fuck with you, not because you're black. It's because black people don't have a lot of assets. So you're high risk. It's simple math. But you listen to the chat on the streets, oh, banks won't give black people money. No, you ain't got no assets. What the fuck I'm gonna get my money back from? You ever loan somebody some money and they promise you gonna pay you back, but when it came time to pay you back, their brain said, oh man, what happened was, right? That is not a black flaw, that's a human flaw. Meaning that when we're asking for money, the scarcity makes us forget about our obligations. And once we receive the money, the obligations come back and all of a sudden we realize, oh shit, I can't pay you back. The brain that borrows and the brain that pays you back are two different brains. People who loan money know this. So the reason, let's go back a little bit. The reason I was jamming so many people who are trying to always run around raising money is there's low attention to the actual product development. The product development, your sales system, your organizational efficiency, what cycle you in. I don't see the business professionalism. What I see is you seeking approval. Oops. Meaning that you could raise $2-3 million. Are you a good business person? No. And they're gonna watch. If you get 2 or 3 million, oh, you get more attention. So now the more money you get up front, the more people are watching you, and if you can't perform, it spreads even faster. If you're small, you're not performing, nobody gave you any money, no one gives a fuck about you. No one see you, you're good. Make all your mistakes, grow, everything. But what quite often happens is that as you're trying to grow your business, and you go out here and you raise this money, and you get this spotlight, and then everybody turns the cameras, you start getting articles written by you, get pictures taken of you, you're on social media, and then you flop. And you didn't flop because necessarily you took the money and mismanaged. You flopped because you had the wrong model for business. You're an intelligent person doing the wrong thing. Any questions about that part? I give you guys a lot of game about business. If you get in this business game, simple model. Sales is the number one focus of your company. Everything else in your company, every employee, everybody there is designed to support sales. Everybody's there to support sales. They're not there to have loan discussions, do paperwork. They're there to support sales. If sales doesn't work, you need product development. If you run an efficient company and you pruned off the fat and you're pushing sales, you have a strong product and you prune the fat off. Meaning you don't have a whole bunch of unnecessary costs that just doesn't make any fucking sense. You don't have a bunch of unnecessary assets that don't make a bunch of fucking sense. Investors, once you decide to raise money, oh, you don't have to worry about it. They will line up. But if people are not lining up, either your sales, your product, you haven't pruned the fat, or you're not efficient. One of those are above or true. Any questions on that part first? I just gave you guys so much goddamn game.
You just did the whole Lean Startup book.
It's basic principles, man. And I keep hearing folks all this, I'm raising money. When white folks are raising money, they playing a different game. They're not playing the game you playing. You playing the hope game, they playing the Las Vegas game. They understand the way this stuff moves, and there is a point where, okay, I done got some old alumni coming through tonight. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Ashley and Vic in the house. So the thing is that the game I'm giving you guys is that's the distortion of business, because it's so easy to get snagged on, oh, I'm in business, and you get overcommitted to the product. Or I'm in business and you get overcommitted to the sales, not realize the product is compromising on sales, right? This is why marketing is so critical in business, because marketing is one of the major fuel systems for the sales engine. But if you design a sales engine and you don't fuel it correctly, or you keep compromising it, so I make the sales, but then I destroy the experience. I make the sale and I destroy the experience. But by then, if your sales go up, if your sales grow too fast and the experience and product is poorly designed, you kill your business. That's a simple as model I gave you. I promise that simple as model, it's been told 1,000 times, and I promise you, it's one of those models that can get away from you so easy, because inside of a company, you get hypnotized by efficiency. I did this last night, we worked hard, we got this done, we delivered this package, we got this covered, we did this. Does that support sales? If it doesn't support sales, you're getting beside yourself. This is why salespeople sometimes make more money than CEOs. I mean, if you hire a salesperson, it's a chance you may have to pay them more than you pay yourself. It's a chance. But yet we build these businesses and we put product development over sales. We put marketing over sales. Sales is at the tip of the arrowhead, and everything else supports sales. Go ahead, Ashley. Somebody give Ashley a microphone.
Is there any difference, or would you add or take away anything with it if it's a service-based business versus a product-based business, or does it all same apply?
It's always the same, because if it's a service-based business, I mean, without customers, there is no business at its very core. I mean, it's almost like if you just do the reduction process of reducing reductions, without customers, and that matter of fact, your question speaks towards how it can happen, right? Because then you start thinking, I provide a great service. That's the product development. But product development is designed to support sales. If sales don't happen, then you got a hobby at your house. And it's such, I promise you, like, let's say everybody's busy, right? And a salesperson needs to go into the field and they need some tools. But everybody's so busy doing what they're doing in the company, doing all these little efforts and stuff to help develop a product, no one realizes, no, if we're not backing the salespeople and give them what they need to push our company, all this work we're doing is in vain. And the way you're going to find out it's in vain is when somebody sits back and look at your numbers. This is where we started with the numbers, right? I look at your numbers and I say, look at your numbers. I see fat, meaning you didn't pruning. You got, hire people because you like them. You're trying to help them develop themselves. You got shit you done purchased that don't make no damn sense. You done brought services in you don't barely use. You're trying to sell products that don't make no money, right? So you got these little products that you love it so much. It don't make no money though. What do you love it for, right? So I'm watching that, and then I'm watching your salesperson run in a scarcity, like they have this, starve your sales system, right? And I see the dysfunction between sales and product development, and I don't see efficiency. I don't see anything I should invest in. And then last but not least, as a business person, I'm trying to analyze where you are in the cycle of your development and death. You will be born, you will develop, and you will die. And it's not because nothing's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Competition is coming, baby. It's coming, and it's coming strong. That doesn't mean you can't let that die and move on to something else. Doesn't mean you die. I'm saying the idea you initiated when you first get into the game, there's certain things that happen. So you ever ask yourself, why is there more rats and mice than there is tigers and elephants? Like, why can't tigers just reproduce at a crazy ass rate? Why aren't there hella wolves all over, United States? And the reason for that is because it's the law of physics. By the way, business, biology and physics, the rules are almost the same. And so the rule is that a tiger and an elephant needs more resources to stay alive. Mice and rat doesn't, correct? So because one needs more resources, the amount of resources that society has to provide for it reduces its growth, right? Where a mouse and rat, they can take our crumbs off our table and they good, right? So because of that, same rule applies to business. Small businesses, you'll last way longer. More to eat off of. You can flow a lot faster, right? But the larger you get, this is what happens when your business grows. It's less resources. You're more fragile. You can't respond as quick. So the larger you become, the more vulnerable you are to new ideas. You know how hard it is to stop doing what you've been doing when you got a team of 100 to 200, 300 people doing that every day? And you tell that team, hey, all that shit's changed. That means once you say change, that means some of those people got to get fired because you go in a different direction now. So the size creates its own natural limitation for your survival. And investors know this. They're looking at your business cycle because they realize that there are principles. Okay. I'm gonna share this real quick, and I'll come back to this some other time because this is too. I'm actually gonna teach a whole class on this. Most of us think in the context of reductionism. Reductionism is if I study the human body, I can understand how the world works. Because in the human body, there's similarities to the world, right? So I reduce the world to just you. Complexity is stepping back and looking at the whole way the whole system moves. Now, the individual psychology works really, really well with individuals. Don't work the same with large groups. Okay, let me help you translate a little better. Whether you got a Ferrari in traffic, a Volkswagen Bug in traffic, a motorcycle in traffic, it's still fucking traffic. So certain rules change. When a business grows past a certain point, your individual rationalization is no longer any value to the business. You have to learn how to think through models. That's got a little heavy. I'm not gonna go that far today because a lot of us are not ready for that yet anyway. So that was just that's one of my examples. My other side note I want to share real quick is there's a bakery around the corner from my house. And he's not using that model we just talked about. The baker's a talented baker. Very, very talented baker. And outside of his space is really, really nice. But when you get inside, he stopped investing in sales. So what do you mean he stopped investing in sales? The glass counter where the pastries sit, there's no light. It's dull, like it was made by their mom or daddy. And it doesn't speak towards, if you have this, it's going to be an amazing experience. Meaning that sales is not necessarily always just a person. It's what am I doing at all times to sell my particular product? You guys get that? What am I doing at all times? That means that if that baker person focused on from the way up all the way to the point that you take that pastry home, eat it, and throw it in the trash, how can I make you want to come back and get another one? And once you start thinking about, oh, I'm gonna make this front of my business really, really dope, he fell in love with a story and he got trapped in it. This is the most valuable asset. When at the end of the day, your job is to get the person from, I drove by, I was online, I came in here, I walked inside, I wanted to buy everything because it looked so damn amazing. I went home, I opened this sexy box or this bag or whatever I have here, I ate the pastry, and everything was thought out. If you're not willing to do that, then you understand you cannot beat pastries inside the grocery store. Because you don't want to think everything out, that's a different game. Because they're playing a different game with their pastries. But many of us want to get to the pastry game, but we want to undermine the process of thinking everything out. Yet you want to be special because you think you're special. And really, when you go back to list at TD Jakes, you'll realize it's not that you think you're special, you're dealing with the pressure. Too heavy on y'all? Go ahead. What do you say? So a lot of times when you think, when you're building your business and you're really overemphasizing that you're special, a lot of times you're dealing with the pressure. Because realistically, you're gonna have to accept in this game that you're only special if you're willing to put in the effort. You can do special. All of us in this room can do special things, but you're not just innately going to be rewarded as being special. If you think about all the human beings that came before you, there's only so many names you won't ever remember. And a lot of them thought they were special. Hopefully I ain't got nobody to feel more depressed if I do. If don't blame me. Don't project your issues on me. You made me depressed. Cut it out. Stop outsourcing yourself. Own your shit. All right.
What if some?
Go ahead, Teresa. Make sure she beats your microphone. Is your microphone?
What if? I kind of just don't want to skip past the point where, like, what if what you just said did make somebody feel depressed?
If somebody what?
What if what you said, like, did make somebody feel depressed? And I'm not saying you did it. I'm saying, like...
You should be in this is wolf class. I don't know what to do for you. Let me tell you why. I'm over this whole... The social justice shit has no place in business. It's just not. I'm sorry, it's not. I need to tell you sometimes you stupid as fuck. And you need to say, yeah, that was stupid as fuck. I don't have time for you to disrupt it with, but you can't tell me because and me too. And I just, and as a non-binary, shut the fuck up.
Well, because I'm coming at it more from the... I'm coming at it more from the standpoint of, like, you feel how you feel. That don't mean you got to sit in it. But if you're in this class and you are feeling like that,
then go somewhere else and get yourself strong and come back. Like, I'm not doing it. I don't give a fuck. I'm from the tribe of I don't give a fuck. And the reason I joined, and the reason I come from that tribe is because once you accept that you're not responsible to make me feel better, I can take ownership of that.
right?
And I can make myself feel better, right? Number two, once I understand that everybody is not focusing on me, I mean, that nobody in this room goes home and, if you go home and hate me, it ain't about me, it's about you. So that means that when I go home, I feel amazing because I love myself. I'm not about to, what I found is that people have used their feelings as a tool of power to control others. You're going to make everybody in this room fragile because you fragile. Mm-hmm. Man, fuck your fragile ass. If you don't get your break, I'll break you right now. Break. Because when you get in business, okay, say I'm going to business say me and Tone is in the exact same business and we're battling against each other, right? Mm-hmm. If he knocks me the fuck out in business, I'm not going to get up and be like, yo, that wasn't fair, you knocked me the fuck out. I'm going to say, yo, that was a tight ass swing. I got to get better. Thank you for showing me my weakness. You just made me a better business, right? And we're about to have dinner and I'm about to show thanks and be like, yo, Tone made me better. But social justice is going to reframe it as, oh, you hit me. Oh, my God. You don't know what I've been through. Oh, my God. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit about your shit. Like, this ain't a place for that soft ass shit. Like, get the fuck up out of here. And I'm talking about, like, look, I know women beat, look, okay. I'm assuming Oprah's a beast. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming, like, she may be nice to you when she's on TV, but I'm assuming if you fuck with her, I'm assuming Beyonce is a fucking beast. I'm assuming they ain't got time for that shit. Matter of fact, I would even argue, this is my argument for Lizzo. When they complain about Lizzo fat shaming, I don't think she did. It's hard for me to accept that. It's really hard for me to accept that, right? I think Lizzo built a culture which allowed fragility in her circle, and that fragility broke, and now it's so fragile that if you say just a little bit of the wrong thing, it's like, oh my God, right? Because if you're at that level of dance or that level of performance, your level of commitment is on a whole different scale. And the level of honesty is really, really rigid. But if you're fragile, you can't be in that space. And so I don't know the context of stuff, but I can almost guarantee you that even having fragile employees stop the company from running. There's no room for fragility when you building shit. Like, let's imagine me and you, Shabisha, having a discussion about business, and I kind of like, hey, Shabisha, I think that project you worked on last week wasn't strong, and you say, well. And I don't think you're talented in this area, Teresa. And you go, well, I went to school. First of all, it's irrelevant. Well, your school is irrelevant to me. Well, I did this. Irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant? Because whatever we're about to deal with it before, in the future of us, have you did it before? No. So everything's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if you never dealt with it before, where are you by default? Weak. Mm-hmm. But I can't have this conversation with you because I got to spend 2 hours talking about social justice and your emotions. Fuck them. I'll fire you so fucking fast if I have to do all that. Because I need to move, guess why I need to move that fast? I'm in competition. Yeah. Tone over here, he's having honest conversations. Their employees are humble, but they're all beasts. He has a team full of beasts that he can be like, yo, you just suck. And he'd be like, well, what did I do? And he go, okay, I'll work on it. And his team is moving and they're gelling, they're growing, they're building, and they're performing. And I'm over here patting the backs and rubbing the backs on the people. Oh, come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. I'm broke now. Now I lost everything. I'm morally superior, but I'm broke as fuck. At some point, Casper doesn't get better because moral pays for it. It comes from resources of people who perform. And so performance is such a different world that this concept of social justice is bleeding into our fucking system, even those of us who don't believe in it. And we even allow ourselves to have those kind of conversations when it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, do you realize at a higher level of business, your gender doesn't matter? It doesn't fucking matter. You good or not? As an investor, your gender doesn't matter. Are you good or not? If you run to race or gender at a high level of performance, it's a weakness of yours. Have you ever watched how many white people hang out when Jay-Z's walking on the street or Beyonce's walking on the street or any people that's high performing? How many white people surround them? How many of them white people think they're going to quit anytime soon? Not one. You know why they're there? Because they see opportunities for themselves. We're in America, people. People want opportunities. When you start running to race as an excuse, it's been telling me I know your weakness. I can play you like a piccolo player. So at the end of the day, I have no place for it. I don't give a fuck. I literally don't give a fuck. And here's the other thing too. When I talk to myself, I don't make excuses for myself. You know how you can get lost? Excuses like fucking getting caught in an undercurrent. You can get washed out to sea so fast before you don't know what the fuck you just lost in the middle of this big ass ocean dying, right? At some point, you have to start saying to yourself, yo, Nana, you're not good at that. Yo, circle of competence, right? We've been talking about that the whole time. Being honest, I don't know that. I'm not good in this area. I'm outside of my league. You're bigger than me. This is new. I'm going to be dumb again. I got some more new shit to learn, right? Like me just saying it to myself all the time makes me dangerous because that means when I constantly acknowledge what I don't have, that means I know where I got to go get to become who I need to be. But as long as I keep lying to myself like, no, I'm good, I'm great, I'm smart, I got to see me, it's all about being me, that's narcissism being wrapped in this false sense of morality. Man, fuck off. Like, jump off a cliff. Like, I don't fuck with you at all. When I see you in my space, I purposely would come for you. Because in the end, it's like, I was telling my partner today, I trust strong people, men and women, over fragile people all day long. A fragile person will take some innocent words, change it to something that you didn't see, and come for you when you don't see, and stab you in the back. An honest person, this person's strong, I see the rules, I can have a straight conversation with you, and we're moving. It flows differently. So in my circle, all the fragile people got pushed. They so fucking far on the outside, they got to look at me through binoculars. Fuck what you heard. Let's roll into this shit. That's why when I tell you guys about working out, let's go back to that little fragile ass person you talked about. When you don't train, you don't learn the process of building strength. My daughter today, I told my daughter she had to share her nanny with her best friend. She's the only daughter, so she's like, I don't want to share. So she started crying on me. So, we went through our process, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna let you cry, but at some point I'm gonna stop it, because right now you're just hurting yourself. You're just looping. After 10 minutes, you're looping. So then I said to her, I know it's difficult for you. You're the only daughter, so you haven't done nothing wrong. You're 5. You still haven't done anything. Because she said, I said, you know how you get better? She goes, no. I said, do you know why you had a problem sharing? She said, because I'm 5. No. I said, no, it's not because you're 5. It's because you're the only daughter, and it's hard. I said, but you know how you get better? And she said she threw out something else. I was like, no, what did I teach you? She said, what? I said, practice. That means by 6 or 7, you'll be comfortable sharing. I didn't say by tomorrow, next week, next 5 minutes. I said, you're going to struggle through it, but I need you to practice. I said, remember, NTs, we don't quit. We practice, and we become greater. Right? I'm starting my fight. I talk to my 5-year-old daughter like that. Right? And to mind you, my daughter's never heard me raise my voice at her. She don't know what the fuck that sounds like. She has no idea what my upper voice sounds like. Because in the end, it's like, this life is easy and hard. And we love to talk about how we can sell the ways of easiness. But when hard shows up, we all look like we are mentally damaged. You got to learn to have the same relationship with easy as you do. Remember I said last week, most entrepreneurs don't fear the word, this is going to be difficult. It means nothing to them. They just realize, all right, let me chunk it, let me slow it down, let me practice, let me grow into it, let me get some help. but they figure out ways to navigate themselves around that process. Social justice spends too much time at the corner of difficult. And they want to sit there all motherfucking week, put up a tent, and become homeless at the corner of fucking difficult. Fuck them. I'm sorry, fuck them. This is an entrepreneur game. I'm not in this. Now, do I care about them? Yes. But if you're trying to do this business shit, no. Very clear. Do I love my weak ass family members? Yes, I do. But would I do business with them? Fuck no. Simple. You get it? Would I feed them? Shit, goddamn right. I give them the biggest plate at the barbecue. But they say, hey, let's get in the business together. Can I borrow some money? Oh, sit your ass down. get you another piece of chicken. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, it's two different conversations. so, all right, let's jump, because this is a thinking class. Y'all go. This is, like I said, tonight I'm going to upgrade a lot of your thinking. I'm going to give you, one more, another business. I'm going to give you some business tips. You ever been in business and you had to hire somebody that you didn't really know what they did as a specialist? Right? Let's say if I had to hire you to handle sales, handle marketing, handle accounting. And you'll say, well, Nana, it's going to be difficult because I don't know anything about accounting, sales, or marketing, right? Yes and no. Here's the solution. By the way, I love solutions. I hate sitting around complaining. Motherfuckers complain, but can't get your complaining ass out of my house. Anyway, here's a solution. You know how I teach mental models and principles of thinking in business? If you master that, all forms of building apply. It's based on this thing called the fractal principle. I'll get into that another day. But all things apply to the principles of business. So if somebody's doing marketing and you ask for like, hey, well, what are you doing next week? What's the plan? They could tell you what the plan is, and because you understand business, you'll know, that don't make sense to me. You'll be able to lead those roles from I understand results, output. You understand all these different models and mental models of business, right? And so because you understand all the mental models, business principles, different business strategies, it gives you the power to manage people you professionally don't understand what they do. It's only when you get into management role thinking that your management of other people is based upon you are the superior version of what they do. That's a very elementary form of management. So when you're sitting in Hope class, all these principles you're learning is teaching you how to run your business, not how to be in your business. So the stuff I'm jumping in today is, hey, somebody sits around your desk, you have no idea what they do, but you can literally filter and analyze and even ask the correct questions to get what you want because you understand the basic principles of business. I'm talking about all the way down to, I remember one time my wife said, hey, I need you, the school's trying to raise money for Diallo. And they want us to come and do something. I said, well, explain what we got to do. And I said, well, how much are they trying to raise? And she said, they're trying to raise, I think it was like $600. And I think we were supposed to come and walk around a track and ask for people to sponsor us and then collect the money, some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And I said, that mathematically makes no fucking sense. Here's my $20 donation. If they can get half the people to do that, they already got their fucking money. This is the dumbest shit ever. Right? I understand business. I went straight to the math and added stuff like my time. I'm working for pennies. Let me give you here's $20. Here's your tips built into that. Let's go. like, let's go. Right? But if you don't know business, you'll kind of like, you'll get swept up in the emotion of, we helping the kids, Nana. Oh my God. The kids, man. Don't you love black kids, Nana? I'm like, oh man, yeah, I do love black kids. All right, I'll go along. I don't want to do this. I spent 2 to 3 hours, 2.5, get up early on a Saturday morning, which y'all know for me, that's triple time. And then I'm going to spend 2 or 3 hours down there with the kids, walking around this goddamn field, laughing with adults, realize we made $600, I just gave you $20 and did what the fuck I need to do that week. You see where I'm going with this? Like, once you understand like how things work, then when things come to you from your employees, it still has to fit within a model. But if you don't know what the models are and you just think you are a leader, meaning I do what you do better, so I am leading you to be a better version of me. That's how most people look at leadership in our community. Not you oversee the invisible abstract systems that affects the business, and so you're shaping those abstract systems to make sure the business has a high level of efficiency and output. It's a whole different form of thinking. So when you learn this abstract shit, you'll be like, oh, what's up with all this abstract stuff? I'm teaching you how to run a fucking business. Running a business is not getting in there and outworking your employees. It's not micromanaging. It's knowing the systems that's going to shape the output of collaborations of large groups of people, even knowing the systems that's going to shape the market's behavior. Because if the market behavior shifts and you can't see that change, then you're still doing the same shit and your market's way over here. So you have to learn to think in abstract rhythms, but you clinging close to this idea of vivid thinking, which is if I can't see it, it doesn't mean anything, is you holding on to the slave mindset because it's a comfort zone for you. It's your blanket. You don't want to leave your blanket behind. Business is very abstract. It's not all vivid. If you think about money, money is not vivid, it's abstract. That goddamn dollar bill ain't like you take it to another, take it to the guys. They be like, "This is $1? Bless you, my child. You get more life." No, it's an abstract story told around this piece of paper that gives it value. And then if that's the case, the fragility is a story. So if you don't see stories shifting in the world and how it could affect your dollar, or you don't see how stories can shift and it changes the stock market. If you don't see how stories can shift and it changes local money moving to the government, then you're just looking at the outcome, not understanding the foresight. Y'all dig that? Mm-hmm. I give y'all so much business knowledge.
That I'm taking that and putting it on Tumblr. I am. I'm gonna give you credit. I'm gonna say you said it. I am. I'm just telling you.
You didn't put it on MySpace? Oh,
No.
okay. See, this is why I come for him.
Jasadi.
You better leave my MySpace page alone, Jasadi.
No.
Yeah.
Remember, you started this.
Yeah, no, I know what I'm saying.
Keep that same energy.
I got a picture of him when he had a perm. Hey, I got a picture of Jasadi when he had a perm. But okay, let's move on to. But anyway, let's jump on into this lesson. But yeah, but I mean, with that first part of class, go back and listen to it over and over again until you really understand it. Because a lot of times in this class, what I've noticed with a lot of you guys, and Shabisha, we were talking about this the other day, you guys would nod, yeah. You know what the fuck I just said. And the reason you don't know what the fuck I just said is because you heard the words. You just don't contextually understand what the fuck I just said. And it's because the consciousness that you're in that you're trying to move out of. You think because you heard the words, you understand contextually what it means. And the day it shows up on your step, you're going to be like, what is this? And I'll be like, I told you 1,000 times. You repeated this shit to me, but you didn't understand what you was looking at. And so a lot of you guys will go back to your business and you'll go back and you'll be working on changing the labels of your products or, improving the speed of your service or working on making everybody wear nice outfits, and you still don't understand the value of sales. Still don't. Once you learn the value of sales, you'll say, oh, shit. This is where the breaks in my company, this is the weaknesses of my company. I'm loving, like artists. Imagine artists. Artists like, yo, you see my pictures? Mm-hmm. They're so beautiful. You see my photography? Oh, my God, I'm shooting with this new camera. I can outshoot everybody in the world. What about your sales? Your sales is not struggling. I can promise you, when I was deep into photography, I met people who were making a lot of money from sales, and their photography sucked. It was okay. It was mediocre. But you'll find people who fall in love with the cameras and the photography and the lifestyle and the friends and the this and the that, and they never invest in the value of sales. And when you take pictures, or let's say you take great pictures, and you got great sales, but you're not paying attention to who you're selling to. So you're not posting the kind of pictures that would enhance your sales. You're posting pictures that you like. You see the difference? How that can get out of alignment so fast? Everything in your business is designed to protect sales. Go ahead, Scott. Pass the microphone.
Hold on, I'll just grab a quartz microphone.
Okay.
What's that?
I need to cut to where I'm talking. That camera doesn't come.
Oh, okay. Well, just go and sit in front of. Yeah, just go and sit over there and just be a diplomat for a second.
Really light-skinned quartzsmith.
Yeah.
This is actually something I've been. Damn, I feel short.
Yeah. You gotta
Struggling
raise
with
your feet.
myself and trying to test a lot because I shoot so many different things, and I'm trying to figure out how to build like residual revenue models with my prints now. It's fucking hard, man. Trying to figure out that fight between like what I think is good and then what sells. Like the print that I've sold the most of, and I've made a lot of money selling it, is just a print of UC Berkeley during the sunset. But consistently, people just buy this UC Berkeley print. It never dies. It's like a zombie. So now I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if that's a leading indicator or not, but I got to figure out, what my blocking is as far as what is going to lead for. Is it landscape sales? Is it celebrity sales? Is it lifestyle sales? Like, it's a hard thing to map. So just trying to test and test and test.
Well, I think the good thing about social media is that you can really spray and pray a lot, because you can throw things up, you can have ideas, throw it up, and then once something does hit, expand on that. Because really in art, once you catch that wave, you got to ride the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Right? You can't afford to, and in the process, if you're doing that, sometimes what may sell may be the most boring shit ever. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I know how to make money doing photography. Mm-hmm. Just do I really want to do it?
Right.
Right. And so, and the danger that artists have is a lot of times they are already product heavy. Like they love the product. They're born for it. They love to take pictures. They which blinds them. Is what you're going through. It blinds you. And sometimes if you have an outside person who don't give a shit about photography, they may help you grow faster.
That's what I've been trying to do, is find people to kind of help be a better compass right now. Because I'm so close to the work. I'm trying to find more people that are just like, no, I think this could move in a certain way or whatever. Yeah. Things. So we'll talk about more offline.
Yeah, and it comes down to like analyze what sells. If it doesn't sell, it ain't shit.
Right.
If it doesn't sell, it ain't shit. Like sometimes we can be in the business of we love a product. We're really trying to push this product on the market, but nobody wants it. Mm-hmm. If nobody wants it, fuck it, move on. Mm-hmm. Stop marrying your product. You're not about to be with it forever.
Yeah.
There's no product you ever produce you'll be with forever. Trust me. Like, it is no product there's none. Whatever you love doing, if you have to do it every day on cue, consistently, it'll change its position real fast. Because remember, whatever you do in business, it has to become a machine of output. It can't be sporadic. It has to have continuity. Continuity destroys romanticism to the product. But what you're doing is that you're caught you're being drunk by the early process of going, oh, I'm going to be with this. This means so much to me. And then once it takes off, you realize it meant a lot to you when you was able to do it when you want to do it. It doesn't mean the same when you have to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you start moving from the beginning as if it's just a commodity, that no matter how much you like this product, you ain't going to like it for long, and move with that from the beginning to the end, you're doing business. It's a green, what do you call it? A green lumber theory, which was they asked the guy who was making all this money off of selling green lumber, right? And they asked him like, "Yo, what you know about green lumber?" He's like, "I don't know a goddamn thing." I know business though. And he was killing the game in lumber, but he understood the business of sales and moving products. Some of y'all will fall in love with the goddamn lumber. Like, what are you doing? This is why you can't make no money, because you can't even take feedback when you fall in love. If I say, yo, that picture sucks, and you love that picture, what you heard is, yo, Nana just told Scott he sucks. No, I didn't. I'm saying it didn't align with the product. Or if I say it sucks and I'm not your market, like when India Arie got the blowback from commenting on Meg Thee Stallion and the twerking on stage, right? All that trash. I'm gonna say it. I'm with her. All that trash. Remember, there's 350 million people in America. If 1 million says fuck off, why do you give a fuck? You didn't. NDIRE, you ain't Beyonce. Everybody don't like you. Right? If she got 1 million people that fuck with her, she's rich as hell. But the reality is that you're not gonna get everybody to like you. But if you don't have a level of pure relationship with the market, you can get distorted both ways. When you have something good, you'll stop, and when you have something bad, you'll go. And once you get alignment and stop making it personal, you realize, okay, the person who just said they didn't like our shit, did they buy our shit? No? Okay. Do they have anything that's closer to profile to buy our shit? Okay. The other ability to impact our business? No. Then tell them I don't give a fuck and get off my fucking phone. And make sure they cancel me forever. Like, don't ever bring my fucking name up again. like, that's real talk, right? It's like that's what. But what happens when you're fragile? Wolf time, baby. But when you're fragile, you let every motherfucker have a conversation with you. That's the difference between. That's the going back to that fragile shit. That fragile motherfucker lets everybody talk to him or her. Let me tell you what Nana says. Fuck you. Okay, that's my daughter. I can't say that. Fuck you. Because once I start responding to everybody, who in the fuck am I? When do we lose a sense of self to the point that we have to please everybody? Like you're literally internally prostituting yourself. God damn. You ain't shit. Okay, let's move on. Ready, Shabisha?
Yes.
All right.
we're ready.
All right. Anything online? Everybody cool online? Nobody get sensitive, are they?
No. Charlize was right when she was saying growing too fast and ruining the experience reminds me of what's going on with the owner of High Felicia restaurant.
What happened? Can you help me? Somebody know about High Felicia restaurant?
I don't know.
What happened?
She's got another spot in San Francisco, but she's basically being called out for harassing her workers, body shaming them, making sexual reactions, and not paying.
Okay, Charlie, tell Charlie she needs to probably call me and teach me a little bit more so I can start my research. Okay. I'm not going to speak on Bye Felicia, Hi Felicia, Good Morning Felicia, because I'm hearsay, and I know, like I said, I'm assuming what my sister Charlize is telling me, and I'm going to add to it, and Charlize's going to call me and be like, no, I didn't say that shit, so I'm not going to say that shit. so I'm going to just save Miss Felicia some space. But she's right. I will speak to what I can speak to. Fast growth. Let me say this again. Listen, folks, promise you, hear me out 1,000 times. If you happen to receive fast growth because of a hype cycle, meaning that you got hella money because of George Floyd, that was a hype cycle. Okay, be very clear. George Floyd was a hype cycle. A lot of nonprofits got money. Them same nonprofits are now trying to cry at our doorsteps. And guess what? Has this floor mat that says he don't give a shit, don't knock, okay? But in the life cycle of how shit works, so when you get money really, really fast from a hype cycle, from crazy investors, from luck, right? If you grow fast, listen to what I'm telling you. You are fragile now. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck if you came out of MIT, Harvard, and Cornell, all at the same week, you are officially fragile. Slow growth makes you stronger. Because what happens with slow growth versus fast growth? When you grow slowly, you're learning lessons and you're growing with your business. So then you're able to weather the storms and you understand what it takes to stay where you are, right? When you grow fast, literally everything you knew today no longer works. And you're literally sitting on top of a pile of money, dumb as fuck. Because you're up here where there's a whole bunch of sharks up there and wolves who fight at a whole different level. And all you used to do is shadow boxing. Doesn't mean you can't get here, but now you got to take you going from here to here very, very fucking serious. Because when the storm finally comes, it's almost too late to start learning. You guys get that? So when you grow fast, don't assume this is good. When you grow slow, that's why how long is it going to take me to blow my business up? I don't know what to tell your dumb ass. Because it's a dumbass question. And you dumped in the game. Did you call me dumb? There you go. There go them fragile motherfuckers again.
But it's like when I thought I was going to have 3 gyms by year 2.
Yeah, I didn't listen to you. Shakita said she thought she was going to have 3 gyms by year 2. And I was like, yeah. And I went back home, ate me some soup. Come on. 3 businesses. Come on. You got to master what the fuck you got first. She's already on year 2, 3 businesses. I'm like, man, this girl got too much TV. All right. Ready, Shabisha?
Yes.
I'll take a deep breath real quick before we go to stage 2. Ready? Let's do it.
Okay. What went wrong? How could I do better? Monitoring your own performance allows you to see patterns that you simply couldn't see before. This type of analysis is painful for the ego.
Pause real quick. You know why most of y'all will never analyze yourself? Your ego is hurting. It is one of the most painful things your ego can do. Do you know when you discover how ignorant you are at things, your brain goes into instant, well, but, I mean, you're kind of ignorant, but you know this, though. Your brain won't say, fuck, that was bad. Damn, that sucked. Like, when I was really into wedding shoots, I didn't give a fuck how the pictures came out. I was analyzing everything I did. That sucked, that sucked, that sucked, that sucked, you gotta do better. I had a list of what I had to work on, and then I would try to become a third person watching me work and try to see myself. I would ask people who are watching me and get their feedback and try to get past all that, like, oh, you look great, oh my God, Nana's here to do my wedding. Who gives a fuck? Listen, let me ask you something. Because why? It's something, this is where that strength comes. This is the beginning of that strength. That's hard. This is one of those hurdles that's so fucking hard, is to get past your ego to say, you know what, I actually don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Keep going.
Which is also why it helps build a circle of competence. You can't improve if you don't know what you're doing wrong.
So, being positive or trying to protect your value makes you dumb as fuck. Being honest, seeing the good and the bad equally. You hear what I just said? Equally. Seeing the pretty and the ugly equally. Seeing the shine and the trash equally is necessary for you to be wise. You're not gonna be good at this business shit playing these colloquial social games of, just protecting how you feel. And if you're just destroying my vibe. Tone, I just need you to leave the room. No, Tone needs to destroy your fucking vibe. If you're not, because you know what really destroys your vibe? When you go look at your bank account, that shit says overdrawn. That shit would literally rip your vibe apart. But what happens is you will go from thousands to overdrawn overnight while you over there protecting yourself. Because when you protect yourself, you start to overmarry stories you tell yourself, and because you tell yourself these stories so many times, you disconnect yourself from reality. Your bank numbers are going down in reality, but in your mind, your bank numbers are going up. Next slide. Let's go.
A lot of professionals have an ego problem.
Wait. Who has who?
A lot of professionals have an ego problem. Church.
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 I went to this school. I'm well educated. I worked at Procter & Gamble. I even worked with. I worked at .com companies. I worked personally at Google. Personally, I've given some speeches on business. Now you ain't gonna tell me what I don't fucking know. Have you seen the command of English and how I read so many books and my knowledge level? How could you possibly understand what I don't know, Nana? Yo, bruh, hold on, man. You don't know my background. I built a company before. I done what you done. You ain't telling me nothing new. Yo, Nana, when I sit with you, I love when you talk business because I feel like we just talking the same language, man. We're on the same level, baby. I'm showing you all these ego things I deal with all the fucking time. Yo, Nana, when you was in class, no, I know what you're talking about. I know that too. Have you ever read that book called Think and Grow Rich? Yeah, that shit moved me now. That's, as entrepreneurs, I know you coming from. Yo, now I'm doing big contracts right now. I'm about to do this contract so big, I'm about to be I'm about to be a multi-millionaire. I just got an email from my partner. I need $2,000. I don't know where I'm gonna find that money from. Oh, I in the same hour. Oh, because the ego is so disconnected from reality that you get so caught up in it, and then when you get comfortable to have a real conversation for a second, you realize they ain't got nothing to do with each other. This is the shit I deal with this is one of the things that's killing a lot of black folks, because we wear our degree and our job performance on our shoulders, and we define ourselves by that. If I'm in a meeting with you and I'm questioning you, you probably are not shining. I'm in a meeting with you and I question you, you probably not shining. Don't blame me because your goddamn light is so fucking dull. And don't lean on some shit you did back in high school and you're 40 years of age. Roll.
Their view of themselves does not line up with the way other people see them.
Uh-oh.
Before people can change, they need to know these outside views. Mm-hmm. We need to go to people we trust.
Stop, pause right there. Go to people we trust. Remember I said the best people who give you the best advice are the ones close to you. Because you can lie to everybody. You can create a facade. You can window dress. You can stunt. You can do all kind of shit to the outside world where like you going on. When we had Fight 10 Media and we hadn't even made $500,000, we hadn't even hit the $500,000 mark yet. I think it was like 120,000, right? But I had a nice truck. I had a Hayabusa. I had a nice camera. Mashan was like, "Yo, why do our friends think we got hella money?" So outside people can't see you like that. But if I were to start stunting for the Mashan would be like, "Bro, we ain't got no money like that. Shut your ass up." Right? The reality is that the people you trust, this is why the closest people to you need to be able to give you feedback. And if you're so broken that the closest people can't talk to you, you're not meant to be in this game. Go get you a job at the nonprofit. Hang in there. Nonprofits, they love stories. They share money on stories. They don't have to look at numbers alone. But in business, I got somebody come and take my place. I got to feed my family. Tone is trying to feed us. Tone is a really nice person. I mean, Tone Vick is probably one of the nicest people you will ever meet. He's in the Pastor Chris category. Pastor Chris, same person. Them two people, both. Take away the ability to feed their family and watch you be like, I had no idea. That light-skinned wolf would go crazy on you. It's a different game, right? Shakina be bouncing off the walls and shit. Now, she's not as nice as them. Right? Y'all probably see some of her fight. But Shakina could bounce off the wall and girlfriend you to death. Come for her money. You'll say, God damn, that is a little Tasmanian devil, right? So the reality is that no, I'll stop because she'll get mad. Suppose this. But the problem, what I'm saying is that you got to get to the point where you can receive that honest, pure feedback, and you got to get it so where people feel comfortable because they know it's welcomed by you, and then it becomes enriched by the way you welcome it. If you don't welcome the feedback, it will never become rich. Do you realize how many things people are not going to tell you because they just don't feel like they don't have the energy? Mm-hmm. They be like, fuck it, it's too much work. Fuck it, you be all right. You gonna die, shit, whatever. Now, it might lose you 5 or 10,000, but they be like, well, it's better than you cussing me the fuck out, so good. Keeping the peace is a real thing. So you got to keep the peace when the feedback comes back. Next, keep going.
Who can give us honest feedback about our traits? These people are in a position to observe us operating within our circles and are thus able to offer relevant perspectives on our competence.
So your circle matters. You don't want, if you get a whole bunch of superficial motherfuckers in your circle, imagine the feedback you get. Oh my God, you fabulous. You a boss. Do you? You don't need to listen to motherfuckers, whatever. We gonna ride in this motherfucker. Let's just ride on these motherfuckers. Hit this shit right here. This shit gonna make you feel better. That's what weak ass circles do. They be coming up with every fucking reason to avoid. They made avoid sound so motherfucking cool. Sometimes I be wanting to avoid. Maybe I should avoid these motherfuckers. This sounds great. No, motherfucker, run into the fucking fire. I need to hear the truth. Or, nah, shit, man. This is what weak ass people are like, oh, here we go getting deep again. Clip. You've been pruned. I prune superficial motherfuckers. Man, do you understand how me and Court talk? You see how me and Mashama talk? How me T. Pratt talk? How me Dave Max talk? How me Kevin Allen talk? How, who else is in my motherfucker? How me and Chris Foster talk? When we get on the phone, we talk. Oh, we may say some superficial shit for like 1 minute max. Especially Chris Foster. Chris Foster is a jokester. Mm-hmm. Man, he's full of jokes. Like he'll bring them. Hey, with Chris Foster, you gotta wear a joke radar watch, because you might be over here pouring yourself some hot coffee, and he just busts your with a bow, bow, bow. Motherfucker, I was pouring coffee. Come on, Chris, stop hitting me when I'm not paying attention. Man, keep your hands up at all times. You bring them hands down, Chris Foster swinging. However, me and Chris would tell maybe 2 or 3 jokes, and then the next hour it is straight heat. It's literally like that all the time. We use it like he's an iPhone, I'm a Samsung person. If you call me, yo man, you didn't pick up, I'm gonna throw my Apple joke. Yeah. He throw back to Samsung. Wop, wop, wop. Hey man, what you call me about? And we flowing. Dave Max is the coolest ego lowering. Like he's lowering his ego every day, because he used to have an ego that was like Dave Max ego extended to the moon at one point. And so he's done brought this shit down where it hits the clouds every once in a while, right? So Dave Max will receive advice, because he's very humble. Let me be very clear. He's a fighting warrior who's humble. I'm like, hey, Dave, that was wrong. He'll be like, yeah, man, why? Right? Because he's cool. Dave got that Chicago cool shit. Yeah, man, why? And I'll be like, because this. He'd be like, yeah, I own that. That sounds good for me. Yeah, I like that. Fuck it, okay, I'll ride with you, Dave. Right? It's just, you got these people. I mean, all the men in my circle, we are pure. There's no, now mind you, I can't disrespect you. I can't be like, yo, Dave, you were stupid. Mm-hmm. I can say, Dave, that was some stupid shit. Right? That's not disrespectful. And he knows the difference. But when I come outside my circle, I know I'm outside my circle. Because then I got to give you 1,000 compliments to tell you one thing. Okay. So listen, I know you're a wonderful person, and God birthed you, and there was God thought about you when he because before you was here, God chose you to be here, and so you're unique, and your eyes are pretty, and all those things, and oh my God, those shoes, I love those shoes, whatever they are. And okay, so listen, what you did last week, it didn't make sense, but it kind of didn't make. I mean, how do you feel? That's how long it takes me to give you fucking advice. I gotta prep with 1,000 compliments to say one fucking thing. Do you understand how unproductive that shit is? That works for like passing. And that's why a lot of times I don't say shit. You say some stupid shit in front of me, I'll be like, I hear you. Nothing for you. But in my circle, they call me, no, that wasn't cool. I'm getting to it. What happened? What'd I do? Okay. And I know when they tell me, give me feedback, not every time it feels like smooth wine. Sometimes that's just, it feels like Slick Market Liquor Bull. God damn, you didn't say that to me, right? But I accept the pain as part of the process. No different when you go to the gym and you get hella sore and you accept the pain as part of the process. But you know the pain is part of the healing to make you stronger. So when people give me advice and it hits me in the chest and I don't like it, I accept the pain and they never feel my response. What they hear is, whew, okay, all right, give me a second to process it. Okay. And I'm slow to jump into my excuses. Well, the reason I did that, the reason for that, unless you just like, no, I think if you were like to learn to skydive more, you'd be richer. What? Because I have a cousin who's rich because he skydives. Okay, don't do that again. but you wouldn't be in my circle if you're that damn stupid. So, because I picked the people in my circle. I picked the mother. No, I am not a free-flowing come one call all. I don't love everybody to be in my fucking circle. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Anybody who's trying to achieve power, they choose the people in their lives. That's all of them. I'm sorry, it is. If you want them to come by y'all, pop culture, everybody should love each other, then once again, this is not your fucking class. There's a yoga class or somewhere happening. Keep going.
I think we're done with this one.
All right, next slide.
How do you operate outside a circle of competence?
Okay, next one.
Learn at least the basics of the realm you're operating in, while acknowledging that you're a stranger, not a lifer.
Okay. When you're in a space where you don't know something, I say I call myself ignorant, call yourself a stranger. That's a nice way of saying it, right? You just made it. Don't act as if you have the same knowledge as somebody who's inside. Even if, okay, let's say if I go into Tone's world, even though me and Tone are very close, similar industries, he has a different model than I have.
Yeah.
If for some reason, me and Mashama said, let's retire, and I'm like, yo, Tone, I'm gonna come help you. I have to sit with him for months and not say shit, because I'm a stranger in his world. And I only can become a lifer through time. When you grow to another level of business, anything you get into, stop assuming the intelligence over here just transfers to the intelligence over there. You guys get that? Keep going.
However, keep in mind that basic information is easy to obtain and often gives the acquirer an unwarranted confidence.
So as you're trying to, let's say if I'm working with, damn, your name just, I just mixed 4 names on your name. Yeah, but I mixed, because I was talking about Charlize earlier, I said Cassandra, and at Shamar, I was like, Cassandra. I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, my brain just did a fart, like, excuse the fart word for those of you who are just high class, like, almost. There's about 2 high class people I know this class probably left almost. But the point is this, so let's say I come and help Shamar out. Shamar, when you start talking about her business, because I know business, I may assume because I'm inquiring the basic information, I'm getting what she's doing, which then may give me the desire to start moving like a lifer. I mean, I think this is what I do. No, that's not the fuck I do. When I first learned about my business, I sat with marketing people for hours. And I understood what they told me, and it gave me a loose frame, and I realized they just gave me margins of where to start learning within. They didn't give me the information. They can't give me the information, because experience is the only way I'm going to get that information. Hope is giving you all the framework, but in order for that frame to become real to you, you got to go out and do some work. Like Kaja, who goes out and tries to grow her business, and she failed with the first attempt, she actually won. Because the level that knowledge she now has, she's already in front of the first 1 or 2 year Hope people who don't have a business. Or anybody who's been Hope that hasn't started a business yet, she already is superior to you because she's already learned to anchor her knowledge into some real shit, right? And calibrate it. So just know when you walk into a circle of competence, or a circle of confidence, a circle of competence, just know when you first walk in that circle, your insights and your knowledge is superficial, even though you talk the same language. So when you even go into a business entrepreneur program, or you sit at any table that you have never sat at before, you are not a lifer. Just because you sound, even if your vocabulary is larger, even if you read more books, you're not a lifer. If I went down to some blue-collar environment where the job seemed very, very simple, and assume because I know all this business stuff, I'm prepared to go into this environment, I am not. When I went to the schools, the first thing I told the person I'm looking for assistance, I said, look, I'm not coming to you to teach me how to teach hope. I'm coming to you to teach me how to show up to teach hope. Because this is your environment, and I am absolutely ignorant. And I need your advice to guide me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Just because they're black people, because these kids, yeah, I mean, know all those things, but those are all relevant, because I am now just a visitor in your world. Because he was so busy praising me, I'm like, no, you missed the point. It has zero relevance on this path I'm about to go in. The path we're about to go down right now, you're absolutely superior to me. You see the difference? So, but in that superiority, because I own mental models and principles, I can filter the feedback he's giving me and the knowledge he gives me and see the limitations of what he's providing for me, and then learn to tweak on that. But even in that process, realize that I still got to grow into this new level of knowledge. Next slide.
Talk to someone whose circle of competence in the area is strong. Take the time to do a bit of research to at least define questions you need to ask and what information you need to make a good decision.
Pause real quick. My mentor taught me this a long time ago. This is before I even started my business. So I was being mentored by someone very strong in business. Oh my God. Y'all think I'm harsh? That dude used to crush me so many times. He crushed all my social justice, pro-black. He was crushing my ideas left and right. And this is what I learned from him. When you sit down with somebody who's very strong at what they do, write down your list of questions you want to ask them before you sit down. And then run through your questions and take them as little amount of time as possible. There's multiple reasons for that. One, you gave thought to your questions. Two, you show value in that person's time. Three, you didn't get distracted with talking about your emotions, your kids, your family, your attractions. They don't give a fuck. They're busy as fuck. No offense. If you want to maximize the advice you get from other people, make sure you write that shit down and go through your questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All you have to make maximum. Don't go past 10. You go past 10, ain't nobody want to keep talking to you. But goddamn. But like summarize those questions. When you go to the person strong, realize you go to the person strong. Don't treat the strong person like they're the weak person or the mediocre person. Like filter out all your questions out with all the weaker, mediocre people in your life. By the time you get to somebody strong, you're down to like 3 or 4 questions. Have 3 or 4 questions. I've already processed it. That person will value you because you value them. You walk in there, you're like, but what do you think? Okay, but I don't know if I agree with you on that one. I don't. When a person gives you an answer, even if you disagree, you can say, hey, can you give me more clarity because I never heard that before. That's how you disagree. You don't disagree outright when you meet somebody strong in the area you're trying to go into. Let me tell you why. You don't know how to fucking disagree. That's a false sense of confidence. If you disagree, you go do the research and figure out if you're right and you're really operating in a space of innovation and creativity, or that person is wrong or right. But that's your responsibility to go figure that out, not to spend that person's time. Because here's the thing you keep forgetting. The person you're talking to is not a God. They don't know everything. They're going to be wrong in some advice they're going to give you. What you want to do is make them feel desire. You want to keep the desire for them to always show up for you by the way you show up to them. There's a mannerism of coming to strong people. But if you're in there disagreeing nonstop, now you're creating friction and work for me. If I have to put in work to talk to you, you know how many phone calls I'm not going to pick up? You know how many fake ass texts you're good? Hey, I'm going to get back to you soon, baby. You know how it is, baby. You know what it is going on. What's that with you? That's because it's too much work to talk to you. But if I know you're going to call me, you're going to be very precise. You already put your own work and time into it. You did your own research. And then I'm just going to give you clarity and context. Oh, anytime. Do it all day. That's a basic rule. Do not fuck that one up. Keep going.
If you ask a person to answer the question for you, they'll be giving you a fish. If you ask them detailed and thoughtful questions, you'll learn how to fish.
Wait. There you go. See, that's how the thought. We got all the alumni coming
Right?
in. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Look here, man. I was looking. Who shut down the players' convention? You understand me? He ain't got a perm no more. Sorry, changed. Okay, so y'all at home, these are my brothers. So my brothers just walked in. Okay.
Are there more?
Go back to that, read that line again.
I'll go back. Okay. If you ask a person to answer the question for you, they'll be giving you a fish. If you ask them detailed and thoughtful questions, you'll learn how to fish.
So when you're writing your questions down, this formula is so fucking important because you can go to you can get a Tony Robbins response, or you can get a really dope, thorough response. It's all how you frame your question. But if you put no time into it, of course I'm only going to hit the basics because I'm not going to go any further, right? Like for example, you can ask me a business question. I can go I can go to different levels that don't even look like the level above it. I'm not exaggerating this. If you ask me a business question, I can hit this level, and this level, and this level looks nothing like this level. But this level is entry level. That's like the basics, right? But if you ain't did any research, you only going to get this up here. So now you're like, Nana taught me this. No, I didn't teach you shit. But if you put time in, like research it yourself before you come to me a question, invest in the questions you're going to ask, then the substance you're going to get back is going to respect the question that you asked. Guys get that? Keep going.
Furthermore, when you need the advice of others, especially in higher stakes situations, ask questions to probe the limits of their circles.
So this has to be done in a smooth way. Remember that somebody giving you insight is a gift. So you can't show up like an inspector. What the fuck you do here? Prove it to me. I need some advice, but I don't think I want to hear it until you prove it to me. Bad idea. You do it casually, in conversation. Hey man, you've been here a long time, huh? Man, what do you do here? Oh shoot, what did you do before this? Oh man, that's really amazing what you're doing. I'm thank you for, or research about that person, because what you'll find is that, remember, when you go to another human being, you're still approaching somebody's ego. And the ego is going to adjust what you're asking for. So it's up to you to filter out the ego trash. That's so important. Hindsight bias is going to be at the table. They don't even know they're giving hindsight bias. If Tone was doing a certain idea tomorrow and the idea popped off and he made hella money, and Tone don't really know how he got there, it just kind of worked out and he just kind of finished the job, but you're really not sure how he got there completely. You don't even know why this person even called him, right? And you go to Tone, hey Tone, how can I be on like this? Tone brain is gonna Tone's not gonna lie to you because Tone has high integrity, but his brain gonna say, oh man, I went to bed last night, I did this, I studied this, I worked on this, I took this advice from Shabisha told me this, I put these things together and shit happened. And you realize he just made that shit up. So you gotta learn how to listen. Listening is an art. It's not, you have to have intelligent listening skills in order to receive good advice. Meaning if you don't know business models and business principles and I give you advice, what you're listening for is charisma. And charisma got so many human beings fucked up, it's ridiculous. The whole self-help culture is built upon charisma. That's all it's built upon is charisma. And so a lot of you guys will say, church on charisma. Now I realize that person didn't say shit to you. I hear circles all the time. I even see white charisma, people who sound so much like they're from Harvard. And they ain't saying shit. Cornel West, I still know what the fuck he talking about. I'll wait for you all to tell me, well, this is absolutely what Cornel's always stood on. I'll wait for you. What the fuck are you saying? Michael Eric Dyson, he got the charisma, talking in speed, talking. That motherfucker moves like a wind sail. He just changed every time somebody get in front of him. So at the end of the day, it's like, once you learn to listen, you got to learn to listen with intelligence, not just speak with intelligence. Keep going.
Then ask yourself how the situation might influence the information they choose to provide you.
So when people give you information, what is their biases? For example, depending on where they work and how they make their money, it skews the information they receive. Remember the concept of perspective we taught you earlier this year? That everybody there's this truth, but it has multiple perspectives, right? And so if your perspective is that you sit next to the ear, then your conversation will have an ear undertone to it. But if the angle you coming from is coming closer to the left leg, they may not be able to give you everything you need contextually because they're biased by the ear, by the blind man around the elephant, right? And so at the end of the day, you got to understand what is that person biased when they speak. A mother who has a child is different than a mother who doesn't have a child. A man who has money is different than a man who don't have money. A man who sells dope is different than a man who works at the hospital. They sell dope. No, that's not the same. Okay. Next slide.
Even if we're careful to know the boundaries and take them seriously, we can't always operate inside our circles.
You will never operate inside your circle. You will never always operate inside your circle. Keep going.
Life is simply not that forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make HR decisions without being experts in human psychology. Implement technology without having the faintest idea how to fix it if something goes wrong. Or design products with an imperfect understanding of our customers. These decisions may be outside our circles, but they still have to get made.
So, real quick. Businesses, once again, we talked about this a couple years ago. Perfectionism. Business is not about a whole bunch of A's. There can be a lot of C's on your report card. A lot of C's. I ain't gonna say D's. Hey, yo, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't y'all dare pause me. Don't you dare. I swear to God. But a whole bunch of C's. I said I didn't say it on purpose, right? But a whole bunch of C's on your report card, right? That's business. Business is more mediocre than you realize. A lot of times when you're on the opposite side of business, you think it's a whole bunch of A functioning systems in front of you, when there's a whole bunch of C functioning systems in front of you that knows how to put makeup on a pig and make it look like it's an A. I promise you, there's more C's in life than A's. A's are rare. So if you walk around as you learn this knowledge and you start to move in the space of an A, no, you just want to improve slightly as you go. And if you have more of averages that put you closer to a B than a D, pause. Then at the end of the day, you are performing at a high level.
That's funny.
I got 3 cold cats behind in this class. These cats got jokes. All 3 of them motherfuckers back there got jokes. And so I got to protect myself at all times. Keep your hands. If Chris Foster was here, do you understand? I'll just have a wall up here. Can't hear you. so anyway, so understand, even in all this knowledge you're gaining with circle of competence, you can't be A. There's no A's in this game. This is the game. Okay, so let me speak black folks' language. This is what white supremacy has used to keep you believing you're lesser than them. They'll take something that looks like an A and tell you, see what we done, you can't do anything similar to this. And then you'll shrink yourself because you see more C's, not realizing that when you remove the curtain, go behind the curtain, like in the Wizard of Oz, there's more C performances than you can imagine. And so stop assuming people are greater than you. Now, does that mean you gotta still be competitive in your knowledge? Those are 2 separate ideas. I won't put you in front, because when I'm battling with you, I can't fight you if you're already a god to me. I'm gonna lose. The first time you hit me hard, I'm gonna think, oh, this is destiny. I'm about to get my ass whooped. At this point, I'm gonna lose all my defensive skills. But once I can see that you're just a human being, man, woman, white, black, short, tall, straight, gay, you're just a human fucking being. You will move differently in this world. Less people will intimidate you in this world. You'll talk to more people in this world. You can negotiate with anybody in this world, but the lines you draw from social justice stops you from actually being able to move in this fucking world. If I think the white man, he's just a white dude trying to take care of his fucking family. He takes stories that randomly happened in the past, that happen to go with the mindset of the culture of the time, and make it seem like it was this organized superhero move. That shit was random as fuck. Random as fuck. But he gets to tell the story. My founding fathers, George Washington chopped down a tree. He never told a lie. John Wayne was a great person. John Wayne was even a fucking cowboy. John Wayne was like, okay, I'll play this fucking role. All right, howdy, cowboy. Hey, I'm not even a fucking cowboy. White people have been telling you these motherfucking lies, and they branded and marketed white supremacy so motherfucking strong, you think that your normal day performance is not good enough. Now, because you think, and then because you don't think it's not good enough, you also don't practice. Because you still got to get in front of the other C person that's in front next to you. You might need to be a C plus when they're just a C minus. But many of you guys are getting closer to the other letter plus. Put your head down. All right, next slide. We're going to move this one on. I ain't fucking with them cats. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Not for nothing, Kevin walked in, and now it's just the energy is like it can happen
God.
at any second.
Hey, I'm ready. Just like I'm gonna warn y'all. For those of y'all who don't know Kevin Allen, do me a favor. Don't cap on him unless you professionally train in the school of Cat Williams, because that cat is so fucking fast with jokes that I have a cap limit with him. so I just gonna warn you. Don't be feeling beside yourself. Get that liquor in your body. Think you got some jokes. Because that cat will tear down fucking nations with his jokes. So I'm just letting y'all know. But go ahead. Yeah, well. Go ahead.
Critically, we must keep in mind that our circles of competence extend only so far.
So your intelligence only goes so far. Keep going.
There are boundaries on the areas in which we develop the ability to make accurate decisions.
Mm-hmm.
In any given situation, there are people who have a circle, who have put in time and effort to really understand the information.
So okay. This is this whole session is talking to just your ego. Your ego gets overinflated when you have a circle of competence. And even when you listen from your arrogance or your social or your circle of competence. Not realizing that everybody in that room has a circle of competence. And depending on what you need, depending on what you want in that room or what you're trying to learn, you need to be a student. A leader has to be a fucking student. Even if you're getting articles that you're the greatest person that's ever walked. I got friends right now who are multi-millionaires. You should see how they can become students that fast. If you ask them about a certain category, they can be like, "Arr!" And if you ask them about something uncomfortable or that's outside their competence, they'd be like, hey man, teach me. What you talking about, man? What I need to read? What book I need to pick up? Where do I need to get that knowledge from? And in the area that they're roaring about, they're always looking for their imperfections because they want to get better. So remember, if you're a teacher, leader, or being heavily celebrated by your circle, stay a student. Once you start thinking, oh, I got a degree, do you realize how stupid that sounds? Think about that. Okay, if I took you back to your first year of college, and I gave you one of the tests you took in the 5th month, you think you could pass it today? Raise your hand. Yeah, you goddamn right. You couldn't. But you want to sit there in front of me and go, look at my degree. I would just grab your bank slip and go look at my bank slip, and I'd be like, oh, you motherfucker, you. Whoa, boy, you strong, baby. You're bringing that heat, huh? This how you moving? But you go look at my degree. I'm better than you. And you, I might better be better than you. No, you're not. If you go sit to talk to grandma down south, she'll probably have so much knowledge for you, but you'll never hear it because she doesn't sound like Mr. and Mrs. Stafford. Mm-hmm. You could talk to a gangster on the street, not the hoodlums. Hoodlums is the shit you see in rap songs. That trash, running around guns and riding around cars. You ever meet an old school gangster? Them are some of the smartest motherfuckers I've ever met. Not this trash on the streets. Meet an old school blue collar worker. It's a circle genius. You're like, damn, I had no idea. You ever been around a carpenter? Like, I don't do carpenter. I did it when I was younger. That shit's irrelevant, whatever I did. So now when I'm around somebody around carpentry and then I'm trying to learn something, you think I'm the dumbest person in the world. And I am. And I'm going to stay in that dumb space. I am not about to at no point go, yeah, well, I kind of know. I don't kind of know shit. Because if you leave that room and tell me to go do the work myself, it's going to look like I just said shit. So guess what I do? Stay stupid, Nana. You know the fuck you can't do this. That's not my circle of competence. When you're around anybody, and here's another thing too, let me shock your system. I don't give a fuck what race they are. If you need that knowledge, that person used to be he's a white guy from Montgomery, Alabama, that told you, last week at this river, I lost a fight, but I don't want to talk about it, right? And the motherfucker got a circle of competence for you, get that shit. Get that shit. That's why I said turn it. If you are a non-binary business person, which I don't know how you doing that shit, and you don't believe in nothing. I mean, you're just like, fuck it, I just want to be, I don't know. Fuck, I don't know what it is. And the motherfucker walk in there and they just machismo all motherfucking day. Oh, man. When I smell men, I know I'm in the room. I said, I'm in the room, okay? You know what? He kissed my ass. But even with that being said, and you're non-binary, get that game. Get that fucking game. Cut this. I don't. She's spiritual. Like for me, I don't like spiritual earthly, right? Woo, woo. That shit almost hit me in the stomach. You know, it was like that's how much I don't like him. He just gets. I'm just like, it's just cringe. Earthly people just. But they got game, I'm take it all day long, and they'll never know how much I feel about them until it's time for when they come to my birthday party and they get an invitation. They realize, don't want your earthly ass around me. It's my circle of competence. Anyway, so boys, this. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is this: I don't give a fuck what people believe in. This is why, okay, as an entrepreneur, let me be honest with you. You know why it's hard for me to ever be racist? It don't make sense to me. You know why it's hard for me to be sexist? It don't make sense for me. You know why it's hard for me to be homophobic? It don't make sense for me. Because the help I get from people is everybody. Now, I tell you where I do discriminate is merit. If you trash, I discriminate. If you tight, I don't. Simple. I'm keeping it simple. You hella tight, man, a dwarf can walk in this motherfucker, trans dwarf can walk in this motherfucker right now, and with a fur coat on and some Timberlands, and if that motherfucker got knowledge, I'm fucking with that person every day. You understand me? I just had to push it to the edges of what I could think of, right? I didn't say I can't. I promise you when I say, because at the end of the day, there's in my world, human beings are some most valuable assets we have in this world, right? Racism is a powerless act. Sexism and homophobia is a powerless act. Do you bring value to my world? My daughter knows 4 men. One of them was in the room that she hangs out with, Kevin, Mashama, and my 2 gay neighbors. And they treat her like a goddess. These motherfucking people. If I caught you trying to break in that house right now, I'm going to put a bullet in your ass. That's how much value, right? Like you realize the value of human life. You realize the value of life itself. So it doesn't make any fucking sense. So if you're an entrepreneur and you kind of have that sexist, homophobic type of, or racist type of undertones, go fix your fucking self. That's why your ass probably broke. Keep rolling.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are you this way? That was what everybody kept asking me.
I hang out with Kevin, that's mine. Y'all have no idea. He's the greatest. Thanks, Kevin. I'm in this circle of confidence. Kevin's the greatest. Anyway, so just remember, you're always a student. You're always a student. You're always a student. And stop putting labels on people that stops you from being a student. Because I know a lot of black people in class like, oh, I don't want to learn from white people. You fucking tripping. You fucking tripping. Oh, I don't want to learn from these people. Don't fuck with me. Okay, I didn't say go have sex with them. I said go learn from them. 2 different things. Knowledge is not meant. You don't need to sleep with somebody and go to somebody's house and spend the night to learn. But yet we got all these labels on people, and then we're moving we're narrowing our circles. And guess what? Our circles are getting our exposure is so limited. It's limiting our own personal growth. Grow. Here's the other thing too. Have you ever talked to somebody who don't have the same background as you, and if you listen to them, you discover new shit? This is never a conversation. If you only listen to your cluster of people, your knowledge of how the world works is that limited. Me and Kevin at the gym all the time, and people come in from different clusters. And we ask hella questions. We are actually curious. And we learn things to see things like, oh, I didn't see it that way. right? Or I learn to see like what is going into people's process of thought, which allows me now to see even one person better. You guys dig where I'm coming from this? Everybody? All right, let's next one. Come on. If you didn't, you ask a question. You didn't ask a question. Well, God damn it, you figure it out. All right, go ahead.
Ignorance more often begets confidence than knowledge.
Just let that shit sink. Ignorance more often begets confidence than knowledge. Don't you put your hands like this. Don't you dare. I mean that a lot of people who are confident doesn't mean they have the knowledge. Ignorance and confidence are well married. There's a lot of people right now who take lucky wins and they assume it as knowledge. And they sit in the room thinking they have knowledge because they had lucky accomplishments by sometimes even low expectations. Especially our people. A lot of times black folks, when you get in professional circles, they lower their expectations. And you jump over that little fucking broom because you think you climbed a wall and it was a broom on the ground. Have you ever seen anybody jump the broom and not be able to make it? Right? Even the big girls jump in motherfucking brooms. Right? I seen brothers with diabetes get over that fucking broom. Everybody jumps that motherfucking broom. It's so low. So some of y'all would jump the motherfucking broom and say, I just climbed the fucking wall. I hate y'all so much. I
hate Tennille. I hate Tennille. I hate Tennille. I hate Tennille's guts. Promise you I do. I can't even mind my own business. She right here. Dang.
Like, just the broom is made for even high blood pressure. Like, it don't matter. You get over that fucking broom. Right? You don't need to work out. I got over the broom. Fuck what you heard, right? So, this can't be buzzing me. Anyway, what is this?
I'm about to sit like this for the rest of the class to that corner.
So a lot of black folks, COVID, George Floyd gave a lot of motherfuckers confidence who are still ignorant. Am I lying? Have you seen the motherfuckers who got the checks? You would swear to God, they went into the brain, they went into an MIT machine and came out with Harvard knowledge in 2 weeks. Yeah. I knew your stupid ass before that money. I knew you was at the club every weekend talking about business, sipping. Right? And all of a sudden you get the money and now you out giving lectures about business. Come on, dog. Ignorance more often begets confidence than knowledge. Like y'all think that shit sounds lightweight, and you might go, oh, okay, cool. No, we just saw a whole culture go through this shit. Yeah, I know business. Where were you in 2016? I was broke. Where were you in 2021? I was rich as fuck. Where were you in 2023? I'm almost broke again. I'm an activist. I'm ready to save my people. Where were you in 2016? Had no money. Where were you in 2018? I had 90 million motherfucking dollars. In 2023, where you at? I'm in bankruptcy.
You're fired.
Am I lying? Come on, people. I want y'all to really peep game on this. And when they got the 90 million, the way they talk to you is different. You know, I would answer the question, but I don't think I really care because at this level of performance, you would never understand anyway. Shut your stupid ass up. So I'm just saying to you guys, that's a powerful ass line, and it's so easy to fall victim to. And you see so many of our people, because you go work for white folks, you know, a lot of black folks, I'm gonna just keep it 100. I'm gonna get uncomfortable with some people, but guess what? I'm not the comfortable motherfucker. Court is out of here. I don't give a fuck. Okay? So to be very clear, Court is over there trying to save the world down. He's in LA saving the world, and I don't give a fuck. Okay. Let me keep it 100. Some of y'all live your whole life to please white people and accept white people. That's what you really do. You're trying to get white people to accept your ass. So then white people give you false praises. Then you bring your ass back to the black community and think you could do some shit. You suck. The bar was low. Your diabetic ass was able to jump over that fucking stick and you think you raw as fuck. Step your fucking game up. Because when you play in the look, anybody can look good for a day. I can look like the president of the United States. I could dress like Obama for one motherfucking day and talk that shit. But don't take this country to war because we're gonna lose. Fucking with me. Because I ain't never in no fucking country, so I don't know. I'll be fucking up everything. I have to have a lunch break, and I ain't waking up till like 11 every day. So we fucked up, right? He catches us at 8 o'clock, we dead, right? So, but the point is this. But in reality, right? I can fuck around and look like Obama for a day, right? Y'all think that shit is knowledge. This shit's like, y'all know, come on, y'all been in the black community. Y'all know, there's some stunting motherfuckers in our community that act like they got status and life is going big. And I don't want to get a chance to go behind the curtain and see the bank accounts. Them bank accounts be looking like motherfucking trees in the desert. They be thirsty. And yet, they sit in front of you after I come from behind the curtain and go, yo, hey man, ain't no water back there, bro. Your shit broke. They be like, yeah, yeah, that's true, man. And if I see them the next week across the street, they in front of the altar talking about, yeah, so you know, as a person popping, making money and shit, I'm doing all this big ass shit, doing all kind of crazy things. Once y'all see what real money looks like, and you hear them talk, they've learned to position themselves based upon circumstances, and they think they're so confident, they walk with swag, they master the art. They're the masters of make it till you, fake it till you make it. And you think fake it till you make it means they got something. Doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean shit. Then y'all start taking that motherfucker's advice. What was it, 19 Keys and motherfucking Damon Dash came to town and motherfuckers sitting in the room. Did y'all listen to that speech? Man, that shit was hard. Man, that motherfucker, they might as well just say it for an hour. Dribble, 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 dribble. Crossover, dribble, 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 dribble. And I'm hella tight. See y'all later. But you don't even know better because you don't have a relationship with your own circle of competence. You're so busy faking it till you make it and everywhere, or if white folks don't tell you you're knowledgeable, you're not knowledgeable. If white folks don't call you smart, you're not smart. If white folks don't tell you can do it, you can't do it. If you don't cut that slavery shit the fuck out. Next slide. Keep going. I don't know why she did that. That's just some fancy shit. Go ahead. She just, I was like, I don't even know. I look at shit like, damn, Danielle, I don't know. You should probably tell me what the fuck you did it for. Anyway, go to the next one. Go read that one right there. Go ahead.
The idea a circle of competence in the realm of investments was stated very well by Berkshire Hathaway's Warren Buffett.
This is so tight.
When asked, he recommended that each individual stick to their area of special competence and be very reluctant to stray. For when we stray too far, we get into areas where we don't even know what we don't know. We may not even know the questions we need to ask.
That, oh my God. So this is why when you walk into a new circle of competence, become a stranger to learn as fast as possible. Because even when you think you're not doing anything wrong, you're doing everything wrong. And then you think it's racism. Stay with me again. Watch what I just said. When you're in a circle that you don't have competence in, stay with me. This is so important. Understand what I just said. And you're moving in this circle and you don't upgrade your circle of competence. You don't know what you don't know. And when people are judging you because you're breaking you're stepping on all the fucking eggshells and you stepping on all the landmines, but you don't even know it. You don't even know what questions to ask to get a promotion to go somewhere. You don't know nothing. You're so happy to have that job or be accepted or be approved. You don't know what you don't know. You'll even go in that room speaking on something you feel confident about and you sound like a fucking idiot. A fucking idiot because you contextually don't know man, I can't tell you, the more I learn, the more you realize this shit gets complex. And motherfuckers who stay in their circle of competence, they learn those complexities as their ABCs. And you walk in that motherfucker just speaking because you was popular from the school you came from, the neighborhood you came from, the last job you had. Shut the fuck up and master the game. So then you know what questions to ask, even when to ask the questions. You know when you actually make yourself look like a damn fool, even though you're moving with high integrity, working your ass off, and you mean the best, and you only doing the right thing. At the end of the day, your shit looks stupid. Hard work has no value in worlds of complexity. Well, it doesn't have no value. It has value, but when you're trying to move in certain circles of competence, it doesn't speak towards intelligence because you worked hard. People just may take an extra day to fire you, but at the end of the day, what gives you value in circles of people is your competence level. And when you first realize what you don't know, look, when you get to the stock market, there are so many hidden systems in the stock market that is not stated when you watch CNBC. That's not stated when you read about stocks on Wikipedia. It's not stated when you go to YouTube. When you get in that world, you realize there's a whole level of knowledge you will never hear on the streets of America unless you're in that circle. So don't give a fuck how much money you made over here. You take some of your money, you throw it in that circle, them wolves will be like, another one. And you realize you're the trick. Straight up. In every new circle of competence, if you don't take time to grow your circle of competence, you're the trick in the game. So don't think about, well, I know I'm somebody, I'm intelligent, I should be in this room and say what I want to say. No, you should shut the fuck up and listen. And be a student until you became, and then once you gain some maturity and you gain some knowledge, you put things in contextually together, then yeah, speak up. We want you to speak up because that's how you bring value to the overall team. We need you to speak up. But when you first arrive, you stupid. You stupid. Cut it out. You stupid. And it's okay to be stupid. You were born stupid, and when you die, you still stupid. It's too much fucking knowledge. If you find out in your whole lifetime you only gain 1% of all the knowledge in the world, and 99% knowledge you can gain, that makes you stupid, right? That means we're always gonna be stupid. But guess what? We're cool with that. Because that means in my lifetime, I got a lot of shit to learn, and life is exciting to me. And every time I learn new shit, I got more rewards coming. As opposed to you trying to defend your stupid ass, which keeps you stupid. Where we at?
Yeah, we're done with that page.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
I told you, I ain't Court. Court is nicer than me. Go ahead.
The CEO, Rose Blumkin, spoke little English and could barely read or write, yet had a head for two things: numbers and home furnishings.
So it was this woman, her knowledge was selling furniture. And she was killing the business of selling furniture. She could sell furniture, like she became multimillionaire at selling furniture. Keep going.
She stuck to those areas and built one of the country's great retailing establishments.
Next slide.
Here it is in Buffett's words: "I couldn't have given her $200 million worth of Berkshire Hathaway stock when I bought the business because she doesn't understand stock."
If you gave her stock, as much money as she's making and what she does, I would give her $200 million of stock whatsoever. It's not her game. Keep going.
She understands cash. She understands furniture. She understands real estate. She doesn't understand stocks, so she doesn't have anything to do with them.
Stop. You guys ever seen the Black Wall Street dude that try to get black folks to invest in stocks in Wall Street? Mm-hmm. Now, I gave the podcast that he spoke one day, and she came to me, he's like, Nana, I want to invest in stocks. And it felt like a ghost moment because I just walked away. Because I'm not going to have this conversation. Told you she's a Tasmanian devil. Too much, right? So I kind of just walked away. I know she's like, this motherfucker just disappeared, right? You know, I just like, I'm gone. That's it, right? Now, of course, I'm walking backward, and you looking at me like, is he just walking backwards? Yes, I'm walking backwards.
I'm gonna need you to give me some more credit.
Right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, anyway. So it just disappeared again.
No.
So
Yes. Knock it off.
So what happened was, when she asked me about stocks, that's not her expertise. If she jumps into stock, Bitcoin, whatever, and that's not her circle of competence, she's just giving money away. Just giving money away. Here you go. But she knows about gyms. She knows about running her business. When she decided to work on expanding her business, I said, hey, it's going to be rough on you. She said, why? Now, some of y'all social justice be like, why, because I'm a woman? Yeah, dumbass, because you're a woman with your stupid ass. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to start leaning to shit. Hell yeah. Get your woman shit right. Nah. But I'm saying, but it wasn't her circle of competence. She doesn't develop property or build out spaces. And I told her, because it's not your circle of competence, you're going to lose a lot of money, and it's going to hurt. And she'll tell you, yeah, the fuck it did. And she learned, circle of competence. Meaning that if you decide I want to expand my business, I'm going to get this new space, have we did it before? No. All your alarms should go off, and hey, I need to find somebody who's seasoned. I need to get some insights. I need to read as much as I can. I need to study this shit so I can make the best possible decisions, knowing that I'm just trying to get a C. I'm not going to get an A because this ain't what I do. I know I'll get a B. It's not what I do. But the worst thing I can ever happen to me is I get an F minus, or I didn't no-show. Right? And the reality is that that's how you got to move through this game. She knows this woman's brilliant. She's a millionaire. She's doing it. She's killing the game. This other businessman go, you don't know anything about stocks. I'm not going to talk to you about it because it's not what you do. But many of y'all in our community would take that as an insult to, you don't know. I know some stock people. You can't tell me. I was in Seattle. Was you with us in Seattle? I met this dude. He's like, yeah, I'm learning about business. I said, man, you should join Hope, man. You know, I ain't gonna sit here and talk to you about my fucking time in Seattle and start teaching class. Fuck, ain't gonna do that, right? That's my commitment. Ain't gonna do it. Dude says, no, I don't need to see no class. I said, why not? He said, because I work for entrepreneurs. I get a chance to sit in meetings with them all the time. I know the word retarded is inappropriate. You're not supposed to ever say that word, right? But I did think it, though. Go ahead.
If you deal with Mrs. B in what I would call her circle of competence, she is going to buy 5,000 end tables this afternoon, if the price is right. She is going to buy 20 different carpets and odd lots and everything else like that because she understands carpets. She wouldn't buy 100 shares of General Motors if it was at 50 cents a share.
It makes no sense to her. That's not her circle of competence. And it's okay. You don't have to know everything, people, to be successful in business. You just need to know what you need to know. You need to know what you need to know, not everything. I think this is another thing that white people play a trick on you. If you didn't graduate from this, then how? Motherfucker, you graduated and you still broke. You know what I mean? PhD people don't live up. Many people get PhDs that don't live up to their potentials. Because circle of competence is when you do what you do really, really well. Yes, life can be very rewarding. But if you get a degree and assume because a degree gives you permission, this is what happens when CEOs buy other businesses and they fail. It's very common that when a CEO buys another kind of business, it fails. Because if the CEO thinks because they're CEO of a business, their circle of competence transfers to this other kind of business, and it doesn't. So that's the trick of circle of competence. It will teach you how to move in this world, how to know when to turn the humble on, when to flex your muscles. This time you can flex your muscles. If you've been running your business for 10 or 15 years and you got a trail of wins and you know how you won those wins, you have a little room to be like a little bit of like, hey, I know what I'm doing. But if you just got into the industry and you in a nice looking building and are you working with somebody who helped you buy the building, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's okay. But once you say that, do you understand how dangerous you will become in the future? Because now you know where to invest your time. You understand what you do when you think you know? You neglect the investment, meaning that you stay dumb for a long ass time. You are a career dummy. Next slide. So, this is going to be our last session of training. I'm going to prep you to teach you. I'm about to teach you innovation and I'm going to teach you the foundation of how to innovate and invent things. So how to innovate and how to invent. I'm going to lay the foundation for you. This is going to lay the foundation. And next week, I'm going to take off from the foundation and teach you this principle. This principle is at the heart of all forms of innovating. You know, if you say, I want to innovate, cool. There's a formula to innovation. And I can teach anybody how to innovate. But you got to learn these basic principles, and I'm going to lay the foundation. It's going to prime your brain on how to innovate. Even if you have an idea, I want to bake cookies. How do you bake cookies in an innovative way that makes you different than anybody else in the competition? I'm going to lay the fucking foundation now. Everybody got that? So what you're about to learn now is deeper principles. Not you should innovate if you do this. I hate that stupid ass shit. I'm about to give you the foundational rules. There's rules for a lot of this shit that you'll never hear self-help. You'll never hear Tony Robbins use this shit. I'm not saying he don't know some of this shit, because I think he does. But that's not what sells. Real business shit don't sell. But people who are in business understand real business shit keeps them alive. Like if you go to certain circles of business people, this class will make sense to them. Tony Robbins, it's like trying to tell a jazz person to listen to a horrible pop song. I'm like, I don't feel this is trash for. It's trash. So does it have elements of business? Yeah, but is it trash? Yeah, it's trash. So falsifiability is so cold. I want you to understand that this is something that you have to learn how to think this way. Your brain may hurt on this one. But when you get this, you're going to also see how you've been tricked to believe a lot of shit you believe in, and you didn't know how to get out of this fucking web. Go for it. Next slide.
Karl Popper wrote, "A theory is part of empirical science if and only if it conflicts with possible experiences and is therefore, in principle, falsifiable by experience. The idea here is that if you can't prove something wrong, you can't really prove it right either."
All right. I want everybody to read that last paragraph. The idea here is that if you can't prove something wrong, you can't really prove it right either. Can anybody explain it to me? You want to take a microphone? Try it. And it should twist your brain a little bit. People at home talking about, I want to say, it's like somebody at home screaming at the TV. Stop it. You're at home by yourself. It looks really weird. Go ahead. Dun, 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 dun. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I was thinking was that if you cannot eliminate all other like scenarios or ways of something playing out to give an absolute answer, like it's black or white, wrong or right, there's really no way to prove that you're right or that someone else is wrong, because you don't have like every scenario or every way that it could be proven either way, if that makes sense. And from the
Close.
look of your
Very
face.
Very, but no. The thought was healthy. It's very close. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Who else wants to go next? Try next. All right. Go ahead.
I don't even think this is nowhere near close, but this is the thought process that's going through my head when I see this. So I read the sentence like 3 times, and it again, I don't think that this is the answer, but it makes me think about how there's no finite answer. Like there's an indefinite amount of options and possibilities for all things. So for you to like plant your stake in the ground and you don't have context for every different type of situation, it makes me think that we should just stay flexible and curious as to what are all of the ways it could be proved right and it could be proved wrong, because we don't have enough context to know. But
You're almost there. Pretty close. Anybody else? Go ahead, Scott. You don't want to stand up because sitting in that chair makes you look so bad.
I know.
Yeah, you like you dated that dwarf that came through.
I look like Oompa Loompa this time.
Dwarf's not, that's not politically incorrect to say dwarf, right? Dwarf is a real thing, right? Okay.
I don't know. I'm not near the pause button right now.
A trans dwarf that happens to wear Timberlands? I thought that was a great story. I'm going to write that book, The Trans Dwarf That Wore Timberlands. Whoa.
I think from what I'm getting from the sentence, from my perspective, is if you don't have a fundamental understanding of the abstract and invisible causal dynamics that make something work or not work, then you don't have the tools to prove it wrong, which means you don't have enough information in your toolkit to even prove it right because you can't get around it.
That's almost that. Well, that's a portion of it, and I think you and Shakina have you did display complex thinking. I will take my hats off to both of y'all. Almost, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. That was pretty close. Yeah, but that was so abstract. I just need to pull it down a little bit. You was in the right lane. You was just a little bit too abstract.
You want me to come back and say more?
Huh?
So you want me to say more or just?
Well, no. If you want to give an example of real life example of how that applies, it's okay. Make sure you stand up. Don't sit down. I'm gonna laugh at you.
So let's say in jiu-jitsu, if I'm trying to apply a kimura on somebody, which is an arm lock, if I don't know exactly how to grab their wrist or their elbow and turn the mechanic of how to turn their arm, I'm just going to be wasting my time. I'm going to be spinning my wheels, and it's not going to work. I'm not going to break their arm. They're just going to be arm wrestling with me because I don't know the exact parameters of where I'm supposed to be holding the joints to turn it and make the break effective. That is. I don't understand.
That is partially correct. That is
to make it effective.
That is very close to partially correct. That's okay. Kevin. Just pass him my.
It makes me think about science and.
Hold on, man. Don't disrespect my voice ever again, okay? Bring that fucking bass down, okay?
Wait, what?
I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna fucking lose get a sore throat trying to match your tone, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't give Tone Victor nothing, okay? Because between you and Tone Victor, I'm gonna sound like a motherfucking parrot. Cause go ahead, try it again.
It's like science.
Okay.
You know? But you would need to know what you could hurt, what you could damage, like have an optionality to see all things. Like if you're building a car, you need to know what makes it go, what makes it malfunction, so you can fix those problems. So it could be safety, it could be money, it could be financial. But if you don't see the pitfalls, then you can't, I guess, prove it right. I feel like kind of just says it though. Kind of hard to explain. You know what I mean?
No, we're gonna explain it, but I think all three of you guys are in the abstract lane, which is not a bad lane, and it's pretty close. But I want to ground it so much for you guys, so you guys can see how it's the hoodwink that's been happening to us for years. Like a lot of people who talk to us in the black community, they do this all the time. A lot of religious people do this to us. A lot of black activists have done this to us, right? And you can't, if you can't show me how it's falsifiable, then you probably making that shit up.
Steph online has something.
Let me hear what Steph got to say.
She said, so example would be gravity. We can prove that gravity exists through experiments, tools, and measurement. You also know it exists because of its absence in space. We can also prove that nothing else is keeping us connected to the Earth.
That's it. She landed it clean. Now I got to ground it a little bit more, but that was the most cleanest, accurate. Read it again for everybody so you guys can hear it. And if you didn't understand it, please raise your hand. Can you try it again?
So the example is gravity. We can prove that gravity exists through experiments, tools, and measurement. You also know it exists because of its absence in space. We can also prove that nothing else is keeping us connected to the Earth.
So that's how you know gravity exists. You know how.
It's like a reduction. It's like reductive or reduction. Like you reduce it down to it can't be reduced any further.
Well, no. It's like if you say to yourself, this is the way it is. All the time, always been. Mm-hmm. There's nothing else. Mm-hmm. It's probably falsified. Mm-hmm. That's not true. Mm-hmm. right? The way we know gravity exists because we know when it doesn't exist. Think about that. We know gravity exists because we know when it doesn't exist, and we know what also does not exist that's around it. They just say that we narrow that by us understanding gravity itself, we know what can't exist. Right? Like if there were other competing causations, possible causations that we weren't aware of, or we weren't able to really kind of surround the idea, then then the theory is just stuck in the space of theory. Until you're able to place it in a real world tug and pull type of scenario, then your ability to understand the truth. You know what I just destroyed for you real quick? I'm gonna go to the next slide in a second because it's all gonna tie together. I know this guy who said this happened. You know why this is happening to these people here? You know what happened to black people, right? You know what Martin Luther King said? You know what Malcolm said? I don't know if that shit's true or not. If I can't prove it right or wrong, I can't prove it wrong. I can't prove when it does not apply. You know, white people would not let us. That's not a healthy theory. All white people would never let you. How can you prove that? Can you prove to me when it doesn't work and does work? Because systemic racism exists, but I can prove to you when it does and does not work. I can prove to you when we control it and when other people control it. I mean, that we're now maintaining our own systemic racism that was handed down by white supremacy, right? But if you make it seem like white supremacy is in full control of Castlemont, I would have to go look at all the teachers and go, oh, so they're all white people from Texas. They call themselves John Wayne, and they're controlling it. No. You're going to see black people, Latino people, white people, all kind of people in there. People who are showing up. But the thing is that it's because systemic racism doesn't depend on the individual. Anyway, I'm going too far. Go next slide. This is about to get into it now. So read this one.
Historicism. The idea that history has fixed laws or trends that inevitably lead to certain outcomes.
So slow down. This is so fucking powerful. Ride with me on this one. If you look at history, and when you assess history, it says, when this happened, this will happen, based on my knowledge of history. Right? That's when you're getting lost. That's the danger. Right? We've always, every time we try to build something, white people just stop us. Catch it. Black Wall Street, catch it. Right? You see what they did to Martin, catch it. You get where I'm going with this? Like how there's a historicism that's based upon this principle of falsifiability that says that's not true. A lot of your fears of what you can't do in society, my mother never did, I didn't do this in school, this didn't never happen to me, because history dictated these rules of outcomes based upon these systems that says it's not possible. And the reason you can say this not because you're taking history and you're using it in an ill manner to say it's a system when it wasn't a system. It's your perception of a system that you're dealing with, not the system itself. When history is really more random than you realize. But you can put patterns on top of history and they become falsifiable. And the reason you know they're falsifiable because you can't prove them to be false. When they're framed. Hey, go ahead.
Would this be the same as projections?
It is very much as a projection. Well, projection is the outcome of it. Projection is tied to it. First of all, man, y'all keep. Hey man, pull the bass out their fucking voice when they speak.
My bad.
Yeah, all that extra shit. Like they doing way too much of shit. Them motherfuckers over there drinking like lemon juice. Anyway, so back there with lemonade. What the fuck wrong with y'all?
That's a bad joke. Never mind. Go ahead.
So the reality is that projections happen because of that. Right? And all these false projections happen that become the limits of how we move in our limiting beliefs. So continue to read this real quick.
This is where we use examples from the past to make definite conclusions about what is going to happen in the future.
Right. But before it's a projection, that's something that you have to formulate the idea that you project into somebody, right? Okay. Let me give you a business scenario. This is business, but it's also cultural for us. Remember, you really can't separate culture and business. I'm going to invest in Apple because they've always been a winner. You know, they're really good at what they do. I'm going to invest in this industry because this industry has been killing it for the last 10 years. That's not, what does the fuck does that mean? You look at the past to define your future because you assume the future is a pattern that defines, there's a system. Not realizing that all those systems could fall victim to this insane disruption. So for you to say, white folks are holding us down, it's not possible. That's why I keep saying it's not possible. It's a false principle of thought. Once you understand historicism and falsifiability, you'll realize those are bad forms of thinking that makes us feel. So when I say, if I'm in a crowd of black people like, yo, you know how white people be holding us back, nobody stand up and be like, what the fuck does that mean? The fuck they hold me back? Right? Yeah, systemic racism has shrunken our access to good resources that makes us underperform when we all take up for the race. True indeed. But it is not absolute. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm having a little tough time with this one.
That's good. This is good.
But aren't we supposed to look at patterns from the past, business, social, whatever, to kind of formulate our
loosely
projections? So like, let's go back to the Apple example, for instance. As soon as you thought that, I was like, shit, that's me. I buy into Apple because they're very good at what they've done in the past. And when they do this, their patterns have showed that they then do this, right? But what I'm hearing you say now, I'm like, okay, wait, so is that a bad thing? But aren't we supposed to use history and patterns of the past to forecast what we think?
Very, very loosely, because guess what? Competition comes along. Remember when Microsoft was on top of the game and it's like they was insurmountable? Remember when HP controlled computer systems was insurmountable? Remember when Dell was like the shit for corporations, right? When you base upon historical, remember BlackBerry was untouchable?
But they were untouchable. All those companies that you just named, where they failed was they didn't innovate.
No, that's hindsight assessment.
Got it. Okay.
If you assessed it, say year 2, when President Obama held up his BlackBerry, and everybody was like, "Yo, BlackBerry is a must-have if you're in business." No one would have told you 3 years later they're almost gone. 3? You know, there was some company that lost. Oh, Budweiser, right? I mean, think about if your money was in Budweiser, and they put out one commercial that took down 35% of their market share. One commercial. Who could predict that, right? So it's over leveraging the past, realizing all systems are vulnerable, and your knowledge of history should be held loosely. Otherwise, if you trap yourself in the history, there's no innovation. All you're doing is copy and pasting what you think always works. When a person who's an innovator is always breaking from the trends of, yeah, that's worked, but that doesn't mean it's absolute. This is what people always done. Don't mean that I always have to do it that way. And because you hold that shit so loosely, it gives you flexibility to become that Steve Jobs for the future. Think about how disruptive Steve Jobs was. Where if he would have came in and copied Microsoft, Dell, HP, Intel, they would have never, he just would have like. So innovators are the ones who goes, I'm going to try something different. I don't give a fuck what we've done in the past. Because they're not bound by historicism. Go ahead.
It was just a comment more so, something that you shared with me when I was trying to grow my business, and you were talking about the copy and paste. And I forget which book, because we've read so many, but you were talking about how people often will fail when they're trying to grow or scale their business because they're copying and pasting, not realizing that they have to personalize the process and like understand the output. So that's just what I thought about when.
Absolutely. And that's when we hold history because, okay, I think sometimes it's easy, for example, when you like, I'm trying to do me, like for example, Kev, when Kev's trying to do music, right? I'm sure it's not very uncommon for a rapper to say, oh shit, I'm gonna be different. I mean, now it's a little different, right? But let's say when Kev was coming up, Kev was still in the era of almost every hip hop artist had to be different, right? And to this day, even Grand National is different. They're not like trying to do what everybody else does, right? He has their own hybrid version of progressive, but also street community love are connected type of music, right? So it still sees the community they come from, but they're also trying to progress something forward, right? Okay. But they all copied and pasted when it came to record deals. See the difference? How we can get it in one segment and then fall victim to historicism in another segment. And if you ask somebody, well, why are you going to get a record deal? That's what everybody does. But why you get a record deal? Hammer didn't do it that way, right? Too Short didn't do it that way. There's hell artists that didn't do it. Cameron didn't do it that way. But a lot of us, and a lot of people who took off and were successful, they were able to kind of embrace historicism from a different perspective. Go next slide. Go next slide. Now, stay with me. Stay with me. This is some dope shit. I'm promising some dope shit. Go ahead.
Popper considered this kind of thinking pseudoscience, or worse, pseudoscience. Sorry,
I like pseudoscience.
Pseudoscience. I'm making up
fuck
shit.
that. You know what though?
Pseudo.
Let me say something real quick for those of you at home that at home try to correct her. That was some black ass shit right there, though. She put the pimp on pseudoscience. I might even start saying, you know what, that old pseudo ass science you saying right there. You understand me? Pseudo. Yeah, you know what the fuck I said. But anyway, that shit has so much swag to it that I was like, I think I want to say it that way now. But anyway, go ahead. So anyway, going with that pseudoscience ass shit.
Oh, okay. Or worse, a dangerous ideology that tempts wannabe state planners and utopians to control society.
Oh, you see it? You see it? We need to do this, otherwise, as a society, this is going to happen to us. We're going in the wrong direction. Oh my God, we're going to hell. America's going to hell because of same shit. I want y'all to see this game that you live. It's the way the media fucking talks every day. That's a false way of thinking. It's a distortion in the concept. Continue to read it.
He did not consider such historicist doctrines falsifiable.
So once again, okay, real quick. George Washington and the founding fathers wanted us. How can you falsify that? Can I falsify that? How could you falsify it? How would you like if I can't falsify it because you wasn't there, then I can't take it as hard science. I want you to think about that. You know, when white people enslaved black people, can you falsify that? Were you there to see it contextually? Were you sitting in the house with the white person as they was having a conversation, or did them dumb motherfuckers just land on something that seemed successful today? It's really important to say this. Because you realize you move in this space and part of your culture is built all these stories around you that you can't prove wrong. And yet you set them as truth. And then they become your limits of how you move through this world. You know, if you want to be successful in business, you got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. How do you prove that, bro? You got the data that said everybody that's ever been successful in business, 100% have always did this way? Then what the fuck are you talking about? Or are you just pushing your opinion? This is why, okay, my most famous words you will ever hear me say, Shakina can tell you this right now, if I just stop right now, she'll say it, is, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that is. I don't know what you mean. You can tell me something right now, like, hey, now this is what it is. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't really know what that means. I don't know what you mean. You might know addition of words. I don't know who you are. Point is this. But the reason I do that is because I'm stopping my brain from falling victim to your false theory. If somebody tells me, yeah, see, what Malcolm X was thinking, how the fuck you know that? Even if you say, well, he wrote it in his book. No, but how do you fucking know when at that moment happened, it wasn't what he really felt, and what he wrote in his book is hindsight bias? How do you fucking know that? So now, you know, we're in the 60s, well, white people didn't want it, and to this day, they still don't want. How do you know that? Have you tested any of this stuff? Are you a victim of all this falsified historicism that has nothing to do with nothing? And they're all of your limiting beliefs. You know, white folks ain't gonna let you. I remember when I first grew my business, they said, yo, white folks ain't gonna let you get that big. Who the fuck told you that? Well, just look what they did to this person. And then you try to engage them like, but no. But no, you should say, oh, okay, well, hey man, I'm gonna go fight me some white people. I'll see y'all later. Because they are literally echoing their fears, predicting their fears, and using his history incorrectly to justify limitations. To predict it. That's my famous phrase. My phrase when I first started my business was when people would tell me, well, Nana, I ain't never seen no black person run no behavior science business, and you're not a behavior scientist. And I said, yo, man, don't project your limitations on me. That's your limitations. I was doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Keep going on this one. Keep going.
There is no way, for example, to test whether there is a law of increasing technological complexity in human society, which many are tempted to claim these days.
So, you know what that means? You think that society is going to keep getting technical and technology is going to keep getting better and things going to keep growing, it's going to keep evolving. There's nothing, that's just a feeling. I don't think you could get that from. You just made that shit up. And what it is, you're taking your feeling and you're echoing it, and then you use some historical examples, and then you get people to spend money, and the shit didn't make no fucking sense. Keep going.
Because it is not actually a testable hypothesis.
I can't test it.
Instead of calling them interpretations, we call them laws, or some similarly connotative word that implies an unchanging and universal state that is not open to debate, giving them an authority that they haven't earned. Too frequently, these postulated laws become immune to falsifying evidence. Any.
Do you understand that most of the stuff we talk about black folks is in this law, in this space? There are assumptions, there are theories, there are perceptions. You can give her she can got I'm not sure if she's digging her nose or she's raising her finger. But point is this, pass the microphone. But so I just been threatening everybody. I just want everybody to know. So if I can make it home tonight, she sent Tasmanian. But the point is, you may have an interpretation of what white folks was doing, but y'all turn it into a law, and it should just be interpretations. It's not a law. Let's say they did deal with it in Wall Street. Every white person got the same download because they all use the exact same data, and they're going to have the exact same response at all times. And in American history, they all did the same shit. And out of the 200 million or 100 million, they always aligned and always all did the same shit on perfect cue. This is how, I want you to understand how y'all move, how you have these conversations. Oh, I don't like white people. All of them? Don't like no white people? They're all out to get you because you're special? You're about to just change the world, and just only reason you ain't did it because white folks is outside your house every day going, I wish that motherfucker would, huh? You know what you're telling me? Our black kids, our school is fucked up for our kids because they don't care. Oh, and nobody else can teach kids, huh? There's no YouTube no more? Huh? There's no educational books? There's nothing you can do, huh? Can't learn with your child, could you? Huh? It's just too much for you, huh? You can't organize where the sister who's really at home most of the time, who already watches your kids, you incentivize her to help teach your kids a little bit of something? Huh? You can't build programs for them to get together and do some other shit, but no, because white supremacy is just, oh my God, it's too strong. My God. But I promise you, move to our community, y'all know what the fuck I'm saying. Like, we're in this class, and I know amongst a couple of wolves, and y'all giggling because y'all like, I don't believe that shit. But y'all know, some of y'all deep down inside, when things go wrong, it does seep to your mind, well, maybe this was racism. No, your business sucks, bro. Stop blaming these white people for your trash. And you ain't about to win in the game. Look, okay, white people got a head start, true. There's a lot of systemic racism that works behind the class. True. And I'll whoop a white boy ass if you want to debate me on these words. True, got it. Doesn't mean you can't catch up. doesn't mean that his knowledge is permanent. Her knowledge is permanent. And no matter a small business, here's another principle of business, guaranteed principle. The big guy doesn't always win. The big guy doesn't always win, period, in business. The big person doesn't always win. The strongest system doesn't always win. That's a basic rule. But when you talk about white people, you look at their size, their organization, their dominance, and then you say, this is why you can't perform. That's not true. Cut it out. That is the way you, and okay, so now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna take this straight, and I'm gonna move people, completely out, white people out this conversation, and I'm gonna bring a whole bunch of this business lines and structure. Read that last paragraph one more time and watch me show you making all business. Go for it. So go start from, instead of calling,
Why am I missing it?
on the bottom of the testable hypothesis,
Okay,
instead
got
of
it.
calling, yeah.
Instead of calling them interpretations, we call them laws, or some similarly connotative word that implies an unchanging and universal state that is not open to debate, giving them an authority that they haven't earned. Too frequently, these postulated laws become immune to falsifying evidence.
Big businesses is doing this to us. Big businesses have always done this to us. Big business, they are motivated to make these moves. This is why big businesses make these decisions. Big businesses, if you want to run a business, this is what you have to do, because this is traditionally what people have done to run big businesses. This is what successful people do. This is what successful people like. This is what makes successful people happy. This is what a strong black man looks like, what a strong woman looks like, what a strong dwarf will look like. I have to bring my dwarfs back here. I'm gonna give my dwarf much respect. The point is this, that's my imaginary dwarf. I'm gonna keep just giving respect. I show respect for everybody, even imagination. But the point is this, and so you keep giving value to things that's based upon falsified historicism. Black people at some point, we will prevail. We will be okay. History says that's not true. There's races of people that are gone. There's whole sapient groups that are gone. 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 Whole species gone. Oh, black people gonna be okay. Gone. That's not true. It's not true. All these ideas we got circulating around us create false comfort. We created so much false comfort. You remember when you guys saw Who Cloned Tyrone? She get her hair done, they put the perm in her hair, and she was first stating the problem, and then as the perm got more of her hair, she said, whatever, I got some other place to go tomorrow. Whatever she said, right? But her brain she created so much comfort in her brain, and it just pivoted to somewhere else. That's how that shit's moving for you. All your excuses is based upon this falsified way of thinking. When you're looking at competition, let's say a Shamara decides she sees this company that works with body healing and they're doing, say, $100 million a year. She'll say, what can I do against them? I'm small. Bullshit. It's a process to get there. But if you buy into the story you're telling yourself, you already beat. You get where I'm going with this shit? Like how it's like, it becomes this engine that's running underneath everything that's telling you what you can and cannot do and what is possible when it's really nothing but people hypothesis. Their interpretations turned into laws of the way the world works. And then when you move into business, you think you understand the laws of business when really you understand these colloquial laws that come from people's interpretations. They have nothing to do with the real world. When the real world is actually random as fuck. And the randomness, our brain, because we're human beings, we love to assign patterns to random fragments. And so now we go around and go, this is what you need to know about these people or this system or these opportunities or these possibilities. I think our boy, the preacher I just talked about.
Chris Foster?
Huh? T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes says until when you're changing into something greater, it's an act of disrupting. And you never will know what great is until you disrupt what you already know. This is what you're not disrupting. So a lot of things what y'all think y'all can and cannot do is based upon interpretation that you turn into a law in your own head. It's law of your culture. And it's not just you at your house, casual. It's in your schools. It's in the corporations. It's in the people who hire you. It's in the government systems. It's in the overall ecosystem. And so a lot of times you would think the law is a law because everybody believes it. But when you sit down, the way you save yourself, one thing you know about entrepreneurs, we're not like everybody else. We don't move to everybody's rhythm. We don't do what everybody else do. Right? And we're always seeing things that other people can't see. That means a lot of times when everybody's going to go right, you're going to go sit down and go left. Or you may already went right and you waiting to receive the profit when everybody get over there. Well, either way, you're going to move something in a different way. It's because we have these rules of that this is part of your filtering system. So when information is coming in, you're going, I don't really know what that means. I can't prove that, so I can't build nothing off of that. I hear it. I might like what you said. Sounds cool, made me feel good, but I can't move with that because that's not a law. But if you had your ways, if your thinking's wrong, you're taking my interpretations, translating into law because everybody's echoing the same interpretation. What do you think social justice just did? Social justice is full of bad, horrible principles. Not poor principles, horrible, destructive principles. Because so many people say it, it's okay, fuck it. And then they put voting. Voting sucks for black people. It's trash. Most of y'all, when y'all voted, y'all was trash when you went to vote. Yes, I'm looking at everybody in this room. Most of y'all voted, y'all was trash. Yes, I said it, so you got your old fucking ego. Guess what? I'm about to break it again. You know why you was trash? Because you didn't know shit about legislation. You didn't even know the motherfuckers you was voting for in California. If I ask you, who's Attorney General of California right now?
Rob Bonta.
No, not you, because you read too goddamn much. Everybody else. And I promise you, half the no, Scott, you read books that nobody else want to read. But what is this?
Got them from you, man.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying. I'm saying that, I mean, you different. I'm talking about us. Goddamn it, you part of 510 Media. Goddamn it, I'm talking about somebody else. Josh, you jump in the crowd. You too. Shit.
Rob Bonta.
You the only black Jew I know. Come on, get over here. So my point is this, is that, but black people, the black vote. But watch this. If I come to y'all and say, this is why it wasn't really an insult, it's the historicism that makes it an insult, right? If I tell you were trash in your last vote and you said, yeah, I already think about it, I don't know what the fuck I was doing, you wouldn't have been insulted. If you kind of got insulted a little bit, but you like, I'm gonna let Donna get away with it because he really ain't talking to me anyway. Or if you're at home and you just turned your TV off, somebody call this motherfucker and just play my voice on the phone right now. but if you at some point got mad at me because I told you your black vote was trash, and the way you sealed that your position around voting, your blind position around not voting with intelligence, not voting with some type of organized unification of our vote, identifying clearly what our needs was and how this regulation on a federal level directly impacted that. And then when the local vote showed up, you were able to translate all of the legislation you were voting on, all the new laws you were voting on. You understood the history of the people you were voting for, and you understood what relevance they had to do to the black interests. I promise you, most black people didn't do that shit. And you know what made us seal it and it's become where we didn't get room to even discuss it, where we didn't even like go, let's think about this. What is missing in this? There's so much room for innovation and evolution of voting, right? There's so much room. If I could just point out all the gaps and holes, you're like, oh, this is embarrassing. All we're doing is just getting marketed to, and everybody go, okay, we go with the light over here. We go with the light over there. I voted, right? Not knowing if this person even has any interest in yours. You're just swayed by commercials, right? So now, if somebody's thinking, like an entrepreneur would say, it's like, damn, there's so many things we need to fill gaps if we're gonna take voting serious. But you know why you didn't think that far? Because more people died. They died for voting. Did they already all die for voting? How many people died for voting? Was everybody dying for voting? Was somebody out there with their girlfriend? Or were they all seriously dying for voting? They understand the history of voting. That's contextually what they're standing for. Then if you don't know that, what the fuck you echoing that for? Because guess what? You're taking people's interpretation, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And then you wake up and you all been cloned. Now y'all all look like Tyrone. And now y'all all mad when I tell you you're nothing but a clone. You guys see where I'm going with this? This is a cold system, because when I get to innovation, you can't be a clone and be an innovator. At some point, you're going to have to see how to not say, well, I ain't going to copy nobody, and then you just saying no to everything. Like, what the fuck you doing, right? There is some things that are, like gravity, we can prove. And then that's a system I can look at, and then I can use that system. But even with gravity, you know when to test it. Is gravity here? Is gravity here? Does gravity change here? Okay, I can see when it's falsifiable. But if you can't see when it's falsifiable, and it's just a story you hold on to, and you put all this emotion around it, where don't talk to me about that because my uncle is one of the people who died. Bruh, I don't know what's up with your fucking uncle. Bruh. I wasn't there. I don't even know why your uncle was there. Come to find out, he was with this badass chick that was marching. He's like, yo, if you march, I'm marching with you, girl. Straight up. Keep going. We're almost done. Keep going.
We done with this one.
Oh, that was the last slide for today?
No, we have one more. This one.
Yeah, this last slide. Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Last slide. Yeah, it's the last slide.
For example, we can certainly find confirmations for the idea that humans have progressed in a specifically defined way toward increasing technological complexity.
So we can find that. Right.
But it is a law of history.
But is that a law of history?
Is that a law of history?
Right. So real quick. Have we progressed technology-wise as a human race? Yeah. But is that a law of history? Meaning that if you see it as a law, there's no room for it. Okay. If that is not a law, if something's not a law, but we've done it consistently, that's room for innovation. If it's a law, like gravity, I don't give a how many times you jump off that building, you about to get fucked up. So once you know it's a law, you understand, got to build some wings, some parachutes, some jet engines, something get me off the, I goddamn it, put me some pillows and mattresses and all kind of shit, right? Balloons and shit, and I'm landing on everything I can soft, right? I promise you, I'm not gonna do this with you, Kev. Cause I can look at you and you bring up my dark comedy. Okay, point is this. Kev and I got dark comedy. He's worse. And you know, when I'm around him, I be trying to clean myself up. I'm on rehab. I don't care. I'm going to get my life together. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a 4-step program. Anyway, point is this. Can't be in the toilet. That's too many steps. So, high blood pressure. So, is it a law? That's important to ask yourself a question. That's a very thin distinction. Like, you have to think now. You can't just like, okay, got this one. That's why I said slow this one down a little bit. That's why I didn't teach 2 lessons together, which is the next one. Because once you got this, and I give you the next one, you're like, oh shit, I can see clear as day how to innovate. Right? Go ahead, keep going. So it says, but is that a law of history? Okay, go with in.
In the inviolable sense, was it always going to be this way?
Is it always going to be that way?
No matter what the startling conditions or developments along the way.
Stop. There you go. In those scenarios when things happen, the conditions mattered. So those conditions change. So let's say you're sitting in society right now and you see some conditions change that you've never seen before. But you go back to and use the same old methods that's always been used. You're trying to force methods that are not a law to work in current times. And when it fails, you start to try to blame falsely other things, right? Oh, the Russians, oh, the economy, oh, the this, oh, the Democrats, oh, the Republicans, oh, the some. No, none of the things above. You're not paying attention that systems are relative to the environment they exist in, the people who are around, the mindset of there's so many different variables that play into certain things. So when you state history so absolute like it's a law, that law states that no matter what the fuck's happening, this is what's going to happen. This is going to teach you how to look at history. It's so different. Even when you listen to history, you can use history. Remember, I said don't get high off your own supply. You can use history to drive any idea you want to drive. Just don't be driven by that same concept. Like you might say, hey, my wine has been around for 40 years. Some of the greatest people in life is drinking my wine. It's been appreciated by many Africans that came before. There were African Americans who fought slavery, and they only sipped my wine. I can't prove that shit. But you might be like, oh my God, when you drink this wine, hey, I'm drinking this wine, it's a classic. It's been around for a long time. Can't prove that shit. How can you prove that shit? You can go to a wine store right now and you be like, this wine is gonna cost you, $1,000 because it's sat in this space for a long period of time and chilled at a certain temperature and had this little dwarf who would come every day and just rub it. That's why she wore Timberlands. Okay, whatever, bro. I ain't get a face. There's no face in the dwarf, okay? Anyway, the dwarf would rub it and it would. I said a bottle. Hey, she can rub a bottle. Don't pause me for that. Shit, get your life together. Act like y'all got here accidentally, like y'all like a immaculate conception or some shit, okay? Y'all know you got here. Ask your mama. Anyway, point is this.
I don't want to ask.
I hate all y'all. Hate all y'all. But here's the thing. But when you buy that product that people try to sell to you, if you can't verify the story, but some of y'all will still spend the money. How many of you guys have brought Louis Vuitton because it's valuable to you? Is it valuable to you? Was it really valuable? This is made with fine linen. What the fuck is fine linen to a person born in East Oakland? Like, I don't know what the fuck that means. When I was born in East Oakland, when somebody first told me Egyptian count sheets, what do they call it?
Egyptian cotton.
Egyptian cotton.
We be on that shit in West Oakland. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
No.
Egyptian.
You build that shit you want. Y'all was on that same shit I'm just talking about right now. That shit could have been L.A. cotton. You don't know what the fuck it is, right? But in the end, all I need to do is sell you a story. It's not if you can't test it and you can't prove it, you don't know if it's true. I don't spend time considering true. I don't walk around. Because then you may find yourself like really investing in these ideas that don't fucking exist. They're just somebody's interpretation. Like I want you guys to see how powerful this shit is because you can't feel this out. You got to put this lens on to start saying, oh shit, some of the things I really believe in, it's just an interpretation. Okay. Religions, all religions. Not sure if they're true or not. Who could run the test? I don't want to hurt nobody feelings. Keep going. Finish this up.
Josh. Were humans always going to increase our technological prowess? We really can't say.
You really can't say. Now, why is that important? Once you know this, that things that people believe, the belief could be real, it's a subjective reality, right? But it leaves room for innovation and inventions because it's not the limitation. Like, imagine creating a cell phone in 1800s. Think about a cell phone. How insane that sounds. You don't even have an image of what the fuck that can be. Imagine when the first plane flew over your head. How that shit must have felt like. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sure people, I can imagine people stood outside waiting for the plane, like the plane be leaving, and they just stood there and just watched like, holy shit. That thing just took off with people. Huh? Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All you do is jump to go on the plane. What is this? It's the plane, right? He did do that, right? The plane? Anyway,
You wrong.
He did do that, right? He did say that. The plane. Yeah, that's where it came from. That's you guys too old, too young for this. But anyway, oh God, that might get me to the gates of hell. That just might get me there.
It is.
That was pretty close to the gates of hell. Yeah, like it is. Hey. No judgment. This is no judgment zone. I learned that from the social justice people. Anyway, point is this.
Scott must feel so weird.
Yeah, that was pretty close. That was pretty close. Anyway, okay. Let's get back to the point. Do you understand? But do you guys? I want somebody just to speak on this. Do you guys because I want to go home on this, but I want you guys. Do you really get how this is showing up and how powerful this is? Because sometimes we teach things in class, and because we're in this safe little space in this room, you don't realize how many times you run up against this wall. Like, okay, I want you guys to try to escape your hindsight bias. If I came to you tomorrow and said you could run a business, I see you running a business the size of a high rise before you even took my class. How many of you guys would think I'm bullshitting you? Raise your hands. Be real. Be real with the shit. Be real.
Wait, ask it again.
If I came up to you tomorrow, and like say you didn't know this, take this class. This is 2016. No, let's say for Tone 1975 or whatever. And yo, Tone is dedicated. Hey, wait, what is this? Which actually, that's how you should move. You should always be learning. So in a sense, that's a compliment. But let's say it's 2016 and you haven't taken this class, and I came up to you and said, "Hey, black woman, I can see you running your own high-rise business. I ain't talking about you be smile, you be flattered by it. How many of you really believe? I'm talking about, you know what a high-rise, like you got thousands of employees. How many of you really deep down inside feel you can actually do it in 2016? Right? Now, 2016, you feel like you can do it. Raise your hand if you feel if I came up to you, you would believe me. You shouldn't. You know goddamn well you probably didn't. Because all the stories that surround us tells we can't. Also, too, let me show you. I'm gonna show you. Watch this. When the last time you drove through a city and the high rise was controlled by black people? For example, Atlanta, only black people only control 5% of the businesses. All that black city, 95% of it ain't controlled by black people. So let me try this again. I want y'all to dig in this concept. I want you to see how falsifiable this is. You travel through motherfucking cities. How many high rises do you see? Black high rises. How many times have you seen a city where you go to it and everybody there is hired by black people working on black people shit? I'm trying to show you something real quick. How many black banks have you been to in Oakland that's popping? Yes. How many times, when's the last time you've been to a black hospital that took up blocks? I'm trying to show you how these limitations being burned, how the falsifiability is being burned in your fucking brain, and this shit's way deeper than you think. Like if you think it's just about gossip and stories you tell, your whole ecosystem is falsifying limitations for you that tells you when you get in the game, that's not really for you. I want y'all to sit with this for a second. Like for example, how many sport teams do you think about that's really controlled by black people? I mean, not just they owners. But I'm talking about like that's like when you see you like, yo, black people really running that shit.
Mike, let it go.
Huh?
Mike, let it go.
You got what? Oh, she said. He's speaking Jewish. I don't know what is it? And so, by the way, that's nothing too. By the way, all Jews are not the same. And also, this rabbi was saying that that there's such a fracture in Jewish culture that some of the people who speak for Jews don't even like them. So it's really crazy how this shit is. The world is really more complex than what we see. Like trying to look at people through labels is such a poor way of seeing human beings because we're not labels. We're way more complex. But once again, think about how many black car companies have you bought cars from? When's the last time you seen a black shoe dominate the black community? I want y'all to trip on this shit for a second.
Wait, like, technically does Jordan count?
No.
No, Jordan is not black. That's not black owned. Well, no, he still goes to Nike. He's built by Nike, controlled by Nike. Jordan is not at the helm of it. Jordan Brand is at the helm of it, and Jordan has pull because his helm, like he's like on part ownership in that content. I'm talking about, hey, they built this company from black. They're black owned, black this, black. You almost can reach out and touch them. What liquor company is manufacturing black liquor that you know of? And in a minute, let's say who's controlling the black marijuana company industry? No, I'm saying, but like I'm saying, in a minute, give it some time. The way things are going, I'm trying to explain to you how this story of you've been watching this continuum of since 1950s. We've been watching a continuum of underperformance from black folks, and we've grown to think that is the norm. That's a new law, and we learn to. That's why many of us are either thugs, looking for acceptance from white people, acting like white people, think money gonna save us. don't give a fuck, don't want to talk about it. Many of our people are practicing cultural escapism because we're kind of brought into the idea that it's a losing game. Tell me I'm lying. Go ahead, Shakina. No, I'm not lying. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
So my brain is going 50 miles an hour. I'm gonna try to slow it down. But when I'm listening to you talk about why we don't see massive representation in certain areas, curious if it's like the defensive part of my brain or if it's the hopeful part of my brain, like the aspirational part. But it goes, I'm orating what's happening in my head. Well, we might not have the big shoe contracts, but I know a lot of people that have small shoe businesses. Or we might not have the big sky rises, but I got 20 friends that are Black business owners. So then, and again, and I know that I have a history of being defensive, which is why I'm articulating that I'm not sure which part of my brain is trying to pique these questions, because it could totally just be defensive. Or it could be the innovation curious side of like, so is there more room on the table for the smaller businesses once they get past themselves or the stories that they're buying into to become greater than?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's actually what I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm not echoing. I'm saying these limitations are baked into the way we think. They're not baked into the way it is. Somebody look at what is the average income of a small business, a successful small business in America? What's the average income?
Wasn't it like 20,000?
Just pause real quick. Just see what's the average income of a small business, a well-performing small business in America.
Revenue or
Yeah.
net income?
Give me both. 71,000 a year is the average of a small business in America?
That 53,000 in revenue. The average small business in the U.S. makes 53,000 in revenue. 81% of U.S. small businesses have no employees. The annual revenue for a self-employed business with no employees in the U.S. is 44,000.
Okay, so when we talk about, a healthy small business, we're not talking about like the bottom. That's the bottom. That's bottom. That's almost like,
That's just the average.
yeah, that's social justice like low.
So
Because $70,000 a year in the Bay Area means you're homeless.
If you say how many small businesses make over $1 million,
Yeah.
9% of small businesses reach 1 million or more in revenue, and that's according to the U.S. Census Bureau as of 2023.
And what's the average? Okay, so most America is controlled by small businesses, correct?
Small businesses account for 99.9% of all U.S. companies.
Okay, good. And how many employees do you have? How many employees do you have before you go past small business? How many? Fewer than 20 employees? Okay, so companies that have over 20 companies that have 20 employees plus, right, in a company. So say somebody has 20 employees, right?
Yeah.
Look at what's the average of a company that has 20 employees. Can you put that data up? Is that data available? I'm gonna show you guys something real quick.
Between 10 million and 1 billion.
Okay, good. Okay, so 20 employees, that's still a small business, right? Okay. Now, what is the average income of Black businesses?
One second.
Pardon me.
I'm gonna show you a wealth disparity. No, like what's the average of Black businesses are doing?
Hold on.
Like what's the average white people doing? What's the average Black people doing? I want to show y'all something real quick. It's in the data. Brandon, come on. I know you hella fast at shit like this. 35,000, and what is it for white people?
Wait, that's startup capital? That's not revenue, though.
Okay, so
You need revenue. Why is this giving me everything but that? That's crazy. Boy, they burying this. They really are. Good grief.
he said there's usually a racial breakdown somewhere real fast to find.
We only own 2.3% of all employer firms.
When you see our numbers, it's pretty sad. I think we've employed such a small percentage of people. It's ridiculous. I think most black businesses only employ no more than two people. It's some like really low numbers.
That is insane.
Most black-owned businesses have relatively small payrolls. Roughly 2/3 had fewer than 10 employees in 2020.
So more than 2/3 has fewer than 10.
More than 20.
Fewer than 20 employees.
More than 10 employees in 2020.
2/3 have less than 10 employees or 20.
2/3 had fewer than 10 employees in 2020.
Yeah. So when you pull up the data, you look at the status and numbers. If you just look at the data alone and imagine that how it feels in the real world, it's kind of depressing.
So, according to Black demographics, Black business, we've created 1.2 million jobs. 5% could employ someone else. Annual revenues of just under 128 billion.
That's for all of them combined.
And then enough to give every working age adult is 48, a little over 4,800 a year. And if you contrast that to white-owned businesses, it's a little more than 80,000 a year.
So for $4,800 to $80,000 a year, so between white people and black people.
Yeah, call it 81,000 to 4,800.
To 4,800. So let's just make it. No, so
4,800.
5,000. The ratio of separation between black business and white business is 5,000 to 80,000.
Wait, that's the annual income?
That's the annual income of what they get paid for employees. The revenue difference in its output. When you say I got a lot of black friends who are business owners, when you cut through the status and the stunting in the front and look at their bank accounts, it's a whole different conversation because of how they're showing up. What I'm saying is that I'm not selling that, not celebrating that. I'm not even trying to speak about it like, oh, look at that's what's happening. Like this, no. What I'm explaining to you is that a lot of their limitations is not the world they exist in, it's the perception of what they can do. You remember when we went to that coffee spot, and the phrase was, "They're the only black women who are doing this, and and look what they're doing." That's how people talk to them. Built in that comment is these assumptions. It's not built in that comment possibilities. It's built upon laws of the way the world works in America, which is not the law. White supremacy is not a law of limitations. Is it an obstacle in some cases? Yes. Does it have systemic damage to it? Yes. Has it worked? Yes. See, I didn't dispute none of that. Has it undermined a lot of black folks by poor education and making us a working class and Jim Crowism and crack era is really distorted? Yes. But is that the law moving forward? No. You see the difference? I'm not stating the thing as if that's our limitation. Stating what happened in the past, it happened. I can't change that shit no matter how I talk about it. No matter how pretty my words are, I can practice as the art of Jesse Jackson and it's still gonna be fucked up. Right? But what happens with the people who are coming up behind today think that's the rule of tomorrow. It's not. That's my point I'm trying to get to you is that I can make it look really dreary if I'm really sad, really depressing if we look backwards. But you don't realize deep down in your soul is framing your future. Because you turned these patterns of the past into the laws of the future when they're not, you have to separate that because that's the law of how business works, period. Somebody who's a loser in the past could be the winner tomorrow. And somebody who's the winner of the past could be the loser tomorrow. We see it in entertainment all the fucking time. An actor who's killing the game can't get a job. An actor that you saw all the B-rolls, all of a sudden, Kevin Hart was trash comedian for years. He was a comedian that, like you saw, he was like the B-roll comedian that would pop in scenes and tell comedian he's out. And all of a sudden, he hits. Now he's at the top of the game financially. You can say Dave Chappelle's the funniest, but money-wise, Kevin got that shit locked. Right? So now, today, me and you may say Kevin Hart's the shit. Like those who watch basketball say Jordan's the shit. But Jordan can't stay around forever. Something else is coming. Nobody saw Steph coming. Nobody saw LeBron coming. Then when they popped on the scene, you could talk about it afterwards, but no one knew that day when Jordan said, I'm out of here, y'all. We don't know that exists. But if everybody said Jordan is the model of what can and cannot be, Steph would have never pulled up from half court. Steph made 10, 40-foot shots a norm. That was not even something that we would even... What's his name? The basketball player said that when he was playing, he was raised his whole life in basketball. The dude who played with the Cavaliers, he said, that dates the real beautiful black woman. He said...
Iman Shumpert?
Yeah, he dates Iman Shumpert, the dude that dates her. He said, I forget, yeah, Shepard. His name's Shepard.
Iman
Shepard,
Shumpert. He's with Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, Shepard,
his-
Taylor.
that's-
That's the dude. Yeah, Shepard. Yeah, Taylor. Yeah. So Shepard said, yeah, you can tell I'm not a name person. So anyway, so what happened was he said when Steph and Clay came to basketball, they was used to getting to the three-point line and then setting up the defense. And he said Steph kept just coming over the line and pulling up. And he made him mad because he's like, what the fuck are you doing? What is this shit? I don't know. Ain't nobody gonna defend. I'm not gonna defend this shit. And then he realized, oh shit, they winning. And he keep making this shit. He goes, we had no formula for this because this shit did not exist before. So then all of a sudden we had to scramble and go, oh shit, this is gonna be a thing. Now, there's hella basketball players can step over that center line and light your ass up. What I'm saying to you guys is that some of y'all are stuck in basketball, and y'all think still Russell is the greatest basketball, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest basketball player of all time, and ain't gonna be nothing better. And so y'all continue to just move your life like, well, if you ain't Russell, or you ain't Kareem, if you ain't, what's the white dude on the basketball?
Larry Bird.
No, the white on the basketball. He's on
Oh, Jerry West.
Jerry West, yeah, Jerry. Yeah. Some of y'all are Jerry West. Your mindset is at a Jerry West mindset, and we in 2023 of business, 2023 in life. And until you're willing to update your thinking, you're going to still put out Jerry West expectations. I can prove to you after the next class how the way we see business is the way business was 40 years ago, and that form of business is almost dead. And where we are in business today, I promise you, most of y'all don't even know that shit exists. And the whole economy is running on that. I close out with this. Here's my clue, because I don't want to make y'all wait. I hate when motherfuckers make me wait for some shit you could just tone my ass. I hate that shit. Like, man, why you make me wait for some stupid ass shit? Anyway, okay. How is it? Simple question. This is how you answer the question to show you how you're so disconnected. How is it we have, this is a dope ass question. Those of you at home, this is my last question, then we out of here. How is it we have more people on earth and wealthier than we ever been before? When we had less people and more resources, we were poor. Is that crazy? Think about this. When the world had 1 point something billion or 2 billion people, it was a crazy ratio of poverty. We are now at 8 billion people. We increased population in my lifetime. Within 50 years, we went from 2 billion to 8 billion people. That's 6,000 million people have populated this earth, and we're richer than we've ever been. You know what it is? It's really cold-blooded. Because the world used to be based upon commodities, manufacturing goods. So there's only so many materials can go around, right? The economy today is based on information. Information doesn't have the same limitation. Information can be cut so many different ways and so many different. That's why a company now valuation is way higher because they don't have all them assets of manufacturing tools. That's why we say, yeah, look, China, y'all make this shit. We don't give a fuck about that. There ain't no money in that making shit. That's limited. All the money is information. What is a cell phone? Information. What is a website? Information. Look who runs the world right now, information. But black people, we steal on goods and commodity. I make t-shirts.
Dear Jesus.
What? What? Nobody knows the t-shirts I made. Like, what the fuck? Right? I'm being like, but we don't know that the world shifted to information and information and moving products is a business, and yet that business can feed all of our people, can change all of our schools. And we still stuck on, well, you know, I milk my cows. I don't give a fuck about no milking no goddamn cow. I don't give a fuck about a cow. With that being said, hold on a second. In the name of Montgomery, Alabama, good night.